our latest compilations in one place.
God forbid we actually want to go to the gym and work on ourselves and lose weight.
You know, the day I realized I needed to lose weight?
It's a big yes food. Carbohydrates, it's literally what your body uses for energy.
Can you? Yes. Will you? No.
All right, so I'm on my hot girl walk.
Lose the weight.
Okay, I usually do not respond to the trolls, okay? But I just had to, okay? Because first of all, you're a girl, right? So like, why are you hating like a man? Second, why are you hating, period?
When someone says, "I don't respond to hate," and then immediately make a 2-minute video doing exactly that, you already know what kind of energy you're getting. This isn't confidence, it's delusion or insecurity. The entire fat acceptance or body positivity movement is built on this cycle, pretending not to care what people think while dedicating hours to proving that you do. And the joke, hating like a man, is probably something as harmless as the comment, "You run?" Not hate. Maybe sarcasm, but not harassment.
Like, girls supporting girls is really the move, okay? And like, for you to leave a comment like this on a video of me literally going to a sports store to buy shoes to go to the gym is crazy. It's crazy. Okay, no, but what it actually is y'all, and I don't mean like y'all, I mean like you, and people that think like this are crazy to me, because it's like, y'all talk so much mess about bigger women, bigger people, and then God forbid we actually want to go to the gym and work on ourselves and lose weight, y'all still find something to say. Like, girl, make up your mind.
This sounds okay on paper, except she's not in the gym in this video. She was literally in a store buying shoes. That's not progress, that's shopping. And it's interesting how the people most vocal about body positivity always seem to be the ones who get defensive the moment someone questions their lifestyle. If you're genuinely focused on health and weight loss, you don't need to turn off the comments. You don't need to clap back at random viewers. You just post, do the work, and let time prove your point. So you are not addressing the real issue. Buying shoes isn't the same as running. Posting gym intentions isn't the same as showing progress. If you're going to talk about getting fit, the results should speak for themselves. People can tell when you're talking more than you're doing. You are getting bigger and bigger.
Now, I'm not saying that you're going to catch me at the Olympics next year, okay? Because one thing about me, I'm not going to go to the Olympics, period. But one thing about me is that you will catch me at the gym getting my ass up, trying to get better for me, okay? So, sorry that you had the time and you thought you ate with that one, but no, Miss Girl, I just had to clock you for a second because I'm just not the one. And if you got nothing nice to say, just keep scrolling, okay? Just keep it moving.
But this is what happens when the fat acceptance narrative takes over. It stops being about health. So when she says, "I'm not going to the Olympics, but you'll catch me at the gym," I wish that were true. But we've seen her videos. She's gaining weight, not losing it. And now, with the comments turned off, it's pretty obvious why. You can't preach confidence while silencing feedback.
You call me fat? You are. And you're not no better. You're fat too. Baby, look, there's a difference. You're shaped funny. I'm voluptuous. I have things in the right place. Like, there's a difference between you and I. You're not voluptuous. You're just fat. Okay.
Friendly fire would not be tolerated.
Next, we have an obese woman doing hip abductions in the gym. This is a complete waste of time if the goal is weight loss, which should be. And this is the problem with so much of this body positivity at the gym content. It's more about optics than results. You don't need to activate your glute medius when you're carrying an extra 100 pounds.
You know, the day I realized I needed to lose weight, it was so sad. I ordered Chinese food for myself, and it came with 6 sets of chopsticks. That's what they do. They're like, this is how many people we think are eating your food. I ordered Chinese food for myself, and the restaurant was like, oh my God, she's having a quinceañera. All the chopsticks.
Okay, now I have to Google what quinceañera is.
Don't forget Chinese restaurants are super frugal. If they sent you enough chopsticks for 6, they probably thought they were 8 of you.
Welcome back to my series. If you were my client, this is what I would tell you. I think it's like episode 2, episode 3. Anyway, I'm halfway through my client check-ins for the week, and there is a common pattern. So I've said this to a few clients, therefore I'm going to bring it to you. When you start wanting to clean up your eating, when you're focusing on whether the goal is weight loss, living a healthier lifestyle, just wanting to be better fueled by food, whatever it is, most people, what I'm noticing people do is they drop their carbohydrates away. So they don't have rice, they don't have potatoes, they stop having like wraps or bread because it's a no-no food. No. It's a big yes food. Carbohydrates, it's literally what your body uses for energy.
This sounds friendly, almost like nutritional self-care. But the problem is how simplified it is. Saying carbs give you energy, so eat more of them, skips the entire conversation about calorie balance, insulin response, and stored energy. A coach should know that. Anyone carrying extra body fat already has a huge energy reserve. That's what fat literally is, stored calories your body can use. And you don't fix low energy by dumping more carbs on your plate. You will do the opposite, more crashes. Instead, you fix your energy by improving sleep, hydration, and micronutrient intake, or by not undereating protein in the first place. The idea that every meal needs a starch ignores the fact that most people's diets are already carb-heavy. More isn't better. So, carbohydrates are literally what your body uses for energy is true, but incomplete. Your body also uses fat for energy. That's the reason stored fat exists. When you already have thousands of calories of backup fuel, constantly topping it off with rice and bread keeps you from ever tapping into it.
It's a big yes food. Carbohydrates, it's literally what your body uses for energy. So when you're thinking about like having a salad with some chicken or some steak or whatever, great choice. You've got protein, you've got vegetables, you've got some fats. I want you to think about the carbohydrate source. Can you add a wrap to it? Can you have like a crumpet on the side? Can you put it on rice? Can you have a potato? Can you have sweet potato? Can you have pumpkin with it? So that it's a well-balanced meal. Balanced meals still include carbohydrates. For the first like 3 weeks of the Great Lock-In, I noticed, well actually my coach noticed I wasn't really eating many carbs, and I was wondering why I was tired. I've increased my carbs like 10 days ago and I feel fan-fucking-tastic. Okay, steps feel easy, training feels easy, mental clarity is better, sleep's better, I'm waking up before my alarm. And previous clients who I've given this feedback to and they've increased the amount of carbohydrates they're eating have also noticed a difference. So just a PSA, if you're wanting to start eating cleaner, please don't miss your carbohydrates.
Feeling fantastic after raising the carb intake might be true in the short term, because carbohydrates trigger serotonin and quick glucose availability. But long-term coaching should distinguish between feeling better and getting better. So yes, good fitness advice isn't about demonizing or glorifying carbs. But blanket statements like, "Don't miss your carbohydrates," can backfire on people trying to lose weight. But fat online coaching is all about keeping your clients forever. So, fat forever.
What about PCOS? I've been told to go low carb.
How about adding juicing to your diet? Oh, no. You don't need to add anything to your diet. You need to subtract things from your diet. Your diet is big enough. That's why you big. You keep adding more things, you're going to get even bigger. How do you find your body fat percentage? Look in the mirror. Are you fat? Mirror on the wall. Who has the biggest back of them all? You do. Do home workouts build muscle for you? No. Can you? Yes. Will you? No. Matter of fact, let's do yoga right now. Everybody do yoga. I'm in my asana flow. Okay, we just did yoga. Now what? Nothing. You're still big. Everybody put your knee on your forehead. Boom, we doing Pilates. Everybody put your knee on your forehead. We doing Pilates right now. So what happens after you do Pilates? Your back is still big. You look a mess. No offense. I'm looking at your profile photo now. You look a mess. Just based on the profile photo? We going photo for photo? Body for... Never mind. Is my stomach bloated or fat? It's fat. What if I lose weight and build muscle but my face is still ugly? Well, you want to see a plastic surgeon.
Alright, so I'm on my hot girl walk. I paused Lady Gaga because I'm in the middle of a thought process. And ultimately, I think I've come to the conclusion that motivation doesn't exist. It doesn't exist how we think it exists, in the sense that this magical feeling is going to get you up off the couch and going for a walk or going to the gym or playing a sport.
This is actually a decent point. Most people wait around for the perfect mood before they act, and that day never comes. But what she's describing isn't some new revelation. It's called discipline. Motivation gets you started once. Discipline keeps you going when every excuse sounds reasonable.
And I think when we talk motivation, health, and fitness, it really comes from results and change and a feeling. But it's not the catalyst itself. It's a byproduct of your choice. For example, you go for a walk. You feel great afterwards. You're like, okay, moving my body is great. I love how it makes me feel. And you ride that high to keep it going.
Motivation is a byproduct of action. Sure, that's true for about an hour, but fitness isn't built on an hour. That walk high disappears fast if your diet, sleep, and recovery aren't in check. The real catalyst for change is structure.
So take this as your sign, this in the pink clouds. Motivation is not real. You have to create your own motivation. You are your own source of motivation. And there's not a feeling in the universe that's all of a sudden just gonna happen and help you change your life. It's just you. You're responsible for that. Anyways, here's some more pretty pink clouds, and that concludes my hot girl walk thoughts.
The bigger truth about fitness is that the majority of fat loss comes from diet, roughly 70 to 80% of the equation, according to multiple meta-analyses in obesity reviews. You can walk miles every day, but if you're still in a calorie surplus, nothing changes. So, yes, motivation is overrated. The people who change their bodies don't rely on vibes or weather, but on habits.
Making the choice to take care of and love yourself is euphoric. Wish I realized this owner for myself.
I have this weird feeling no one's gonna love me anyway. Like, I have this weird feeling no one's gonna love me anyway. Like, I stepped on my shower mat. Like, and I have excoriation.
Lose the weight. Lose the weight. Listen, everything that you think in your life is good is going to be better. Your life will be in HD. Listen to me, guys, okay? I've lost just under 10 kilos in roughly a month, naturally, because I'm not a punk. You're not about to sell me that Ozempic, Kilimanjaro, what. I'm not putting that shit into my body. I don't care if Serena Williams is doing it. She had a baby. You don't have a baby. You're just fat and you don't have self-control. So we're not doing Ozempic. You can do this shit naturally, okay? You a strong, down-ass bitch. You don't need any drug. You just need this. You just need this. You need to eat less, okay? You need to go to the gym. You can go to bed a bit hungry sometimes. You're not gonna die. Like...
This is actually some decent advice. Eat less, move more. Don't depend on drugs like Ozempic to fix what habits created. That's the core of real fitness.
Like... Just lose the weight, guys. I swear, I promise I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't want you to do it. Do it! Like, I understand we are body positive. We always will be. Yes, we can be curvy and fit and lovely, okay? But be fit and get in the best shape of your life. I'm not saying let's get skinny, because skinny does not look good on everybody, okay? Okay?
Thin doesn't look good on everybody. Maybe, but for sure, obesity doesn't look or feel good for anybody. What most people want isn't thin, it's capable. Able to run upstairs without gasping, lift something heavy without pain, wake up energized. That comes from maintaining a healthy body fat range. And saying fat and fit sounds inclusive, but data from the CDC and World Health Organization show that higher body fat levels increase risk for heart disease, insulin resistance, and joint stress. You can have muscle under body fat, but that doesn't make the excess weight healthy.
Okay, we're not trying to all look skinny, but give yourself the chance to get into the best shape you've ever been in and watch your life change. That car you're driving, that's not your real car. That house you live in, that's not your real house. That job you have, that's not your real job. Pretty privilege is a thing. Fitness privilege is a thing. Whoever said it's not a thing is lying. They're trying to keep you looking not your best so that they have less competition. Get on those bitches' necks. Lose the weight. Don't give them a chance. Skabafa chance. Who are you? The girl with the fat ass and no waist. Or the guy with the big biceps. Lose the weight, okay? Eat less, have sex. Don't have sex, because you're a child of God. Get in the gym. Eat clean. Get lean. Get mean. Grrr. Oh my God. Look at my cheekbones, guys.
The message underneath this rant is actually solid. Take ownership, skip shortcuts, build discipline. But the science is clear. Fitness privilege isn't about looks. It's about how consistent habits reshape health outcomes. If you're serious about transformation, focus on the unglamorous things. Calorie awareness, structured workouts, adequate sleep, patience.
Not Kilimanjaro.
Ozempic, Kilimanjaro, what, I'm
Hopefully the wind blows you here, fat ass.
The wind doesn't need to blow me here, bro, because I'm here more than you anyway. If you're gonna talk shit, at least do your research. It's embarrassing.
And before you start making plans for brunch, just remember, your big ass knows what everything tastes like already. Find out what it feels like to have your dream body. Get up.
Tess Holliday supposedly experienced uncomfortable event on her last flight. We're going to watch her whole video from start to finish. No skipping, no cherry picking, 5 minutes. You'll hear exactly what was said, and then I'll break down what's actually going on underneath all the buzzwords. Let's see.
Originally, I wasn't going to go into great detail about what happened to me, but given the amount of people that have reached out to me, and now that I have been in contact with United, not Delta, because I misspoke, I was angry when I posted. I wasn't thinking because I flew Delta on the way to Tampa, United on the way back home to LA, and I'm in talks with United now. I'm flying with my 9-year-old who was so excited to fly first class for the first time. He had flown when he was a baby, but didn't remember, so this was a really exciting experience for him. We're on the airplane. We are watching Lilo and Stitch. I'm telling you this for a reason, and we have both of our TVs at the exact same time. I paused my TV because I said I need to go to the bathroom. I paused the TV at about 18 minutes, 30 seconds. I go to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom maybe a total of 2 minutes. When I get up out of the bathroom, get up from the toilet seat, my hip hit the flight attendant call button. I get a knock on the door from the flight attendant in first class cabin asking if I'm okay, to which I reply yes. I get out of the cabin and the flight attendant said, "Oh, those bathrooms are so small." And I go, "I know, did they get smaller?" And he responded to me and said, "Well, you know why they're small? Because the airlines don't make money on them." And I was like, we had a little laugh about it. I wish the conversation ended there, but it did not. He then proceeds to tell me that his sister was using his companion flight, who was a very, very, very large woman, probably my size, and that she had gotten a middle seat because she was flying standby. The person beside her didn't like that she was large, filed a complaint with the airline, to which United then reached out to the flight attendant that was telling me this and said things about his sister that made him uncomfortable, to which he said, "I never told my sister," because they weren't very nice things. And it's so crazy how you're so close to dunking the basketball, but you completely hit it off court. Because then what he proceeded to tell me was that, but he did agree that she did need to lose weight, that she was very large, and that he saw I was traveling with my child, and that if I cared about my child, that I would do something, that I would lose the weight. I then told him that I work as a diversity and inclusivity consultant with brands to help them with issues like this, with folks being discriminated against, etc. He didn't even hear what I said, because then he flew past me and started talking about how he was in the military, how he had to eat the military meals. They were full of sodium. It made him feel unhealthy, and that his German wife, who weighs less than 100 pounds, bakes their bread from scratch and doesn't eat any of the processed crap in America. And that's why she is slender. I didn't really know what to say. I know a lot in the comments, everybody's like, you should have said this, you should have done this. In the moment, I was trying to be polite, because I'm traveling with who? My child. He then goes on to tell me that because of my size, I am kidding myself if I think that I don't need to lose weight, and that my main issue is in my belly region, because that is the killer, because all of the fat and the inflammation wraps around your organs, making it really difficult if they need to resuscitate you, which triggered for me, because a few days prior I actually had to help when someone was incapacitated while their children were there, while I'm on the phone with 911, who was a larger bodied individual who was not able to be resuscitated on the scene. And it really messed with me. It messed with me. So I heard what he's saying, and I hear what you guys are thinking. Oh, logically, he was just being helpful. That's not the point. That's not the point. You don't say things like that to people. He said a myriad of other things. The conversation lasted entirely too long. Thankfully, I excused myself from the conversation when another passenger came up to use the bathroom. I went back to my seat, to which my 9-year-old said, "Where were you?" "I'm on 31 minutes of the movie. You were gone for quite some time." I then told him what happened. He was obviously annoyed. I sit in my seat, and then 2 seconds later, the flight attendant comes around asking if anyone wants snacks, to then which he offers my 9-year-old a pack of gummies, because he said it would keep him from being tempted. So I will let you guys know what happens with United, but obviously it fucking sucked.
Why everything has to become a moral lesson about systemic oppression. Airplane bathrooms aren't small because of fat phobia. They're small because airplanes are designed to carry hundreds of people through the sky at 600 miles an hour. Somewhere along the way, we decided that feelings should matter more than physics. And that's how we ended up in this weird cultural loop where people genuinely believe that asking someone to take care of their health is discrimination. You see it everywhere. Body positivity accounts that are less about loving your body and more about resenting anyone who reminds you that your body has limits. It's not about empowerment anymore. And companies feed into it because outrage sells. Every time someone posts a dramatic story about being shamed, it gets millions of views, and suddenly airlines, clothing brands, and food companies all rush to release inclusivity statements instead of addressing the underlying problem. Not because they care about you, but because they care about your clicks. There's nothing revolutionary about demanding the world bend around you while you refuse to meet it halfway. The sad part is that the truth isn't even controversial. You can be proud of yourself and still want to improve. You can have confidence and still take health seriously. Real body positivity should be about growth, about saying, "I'm not where I want to be, but I'm worth the effort." That's the version that actually saves lives. But the modern version has been hijacked by influencers and consultants who make a living telling people that any attempt to change means you hate yourself. Imagine if we applied that logic to any other part of life. Oh, you want to study more? You must hate your intelligence. You want to save money? You must hate being broke. It's absurd. But when it comes to health, we've convinced people that staying sick is brave, and trying to get better is betrayal. And then we wonder why our collective health keeps tanking. Rates of heart disease, diabetes, and chronic inflammation are rising year after year. Medical journals literally call obesity an epidemic, not because doctors are mean, but because that's what the numbers say. The data is brutal, not the doctors. Pretending that fat acceptance is a movement of liberation doesn't change the fact that excess weight shortens life expectancy, affects mental health, and limits mobility. And what's really ironic is that a lot of people in the so-called body positivity community started with good intentions, but somewhere along the way, they started fighting health standards. Now, even doctors get accused of bias for doing their job and warning patients about risk factors. How do you build a better world if you're not even allowed to acknowledge reality? The healthiest societies are the ones that can look at uncomfortable truths without turning them into moral battlegrounds. Ignoring a problem never made it go away. It just makes the consequences arrive louder later. The worst part? All this denial gets passed down to kids. When adults wrap unhealthy choices in the language of empowerment, children grow up thinking that taking care of yourself is optional, that food is just a coping mechanism, that exercise is punishment, and that anyone who disagrees is toxic. You're not helping kids by teaching them to reject responsibility. You're setting them up for a lifetime of pain. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. You can call it fat acceptance or body neutrality or whatever hashtag is trending this week, but it doesn't change the core truth. Your body reflects your choices. It means you have control. It means you can take ownership. You can change what you eat, how you move, how you think, and how you live. You don't have to let TikTok comments or airline seats define you. You define you. But the first step is honesty. Stop pretending that health and happiness are separate things. Stop calling discomfort oppression. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to stop making excuses and start making progress. So yeah, maybe that flight attendant was blunt. Maybe the conversation wasn't handled gracefully. But the broader lesson shouldn't be, how dare he say that? It should be, why did that sting so much? Because deep down, when someone says something that really hits, it's usually because part of you knows they're right. You don't have to like the message to learn from it. And if more people learned to separate truth from tone, we'd probably be a lot healthier. Mentally, physically, and culturally. Until then, we'll keep getting viral stories about airplane bathrooms and fat phobia, while the real issue keeps getting bigger, literally and metaphorically. So maybe it's time to stop looking for villains in every awkward encounter and start looking for the courage to change.
He wasn't wrong though. They said that they couldn't give me any kind of compensation yesterday.
I've never been quiet.
Come to work with me as a plus-size stripper.
This is your favorite body positive and fat liberation content creator.
I'm not being fat phobic. I just want to make sure that everyone is healthy.
Just a reminder.
The hardest part about dating when you're a fat guy like me.
I have been with the finest, tallest men.
Besides water, what other beverages can you drink?
I've never been quiet since the day I've entered this earth, and I feel like if you're quiet when so many injustices are happening, not just here, but Palestine, Sudan, Congo, etc., then I literally blocked my brother yesterday. I'm not speaking to my mom, my stepmom, my dad. I'm collecting them like Pokemon. I'm like, who can I block next? And it stinks, but I just think that you have to stand for something, and I think as you get older or mature, and I feel like you guys are already far more mature than I was at your age, you have to stand for what matters to you.
So Tess starts by telling us she's never been quiet. That's the understatement of the decade. Being loud isn't the same as being right. The fat acceptance and body positivity movements have built entire platforms on volume, not logic. This part says more than she probably realizes. When your response to disagreement is to block your family like Pokemon cards, that's emotional immaturity. You don't need to collect people to feel morally superior. If you've alienated your entire family, maybe the problem isn't them. Maybe the injustice isn't global oppression. Maybe it's the inability to tolerate opposing views. It's a pattern you see often in performative activism. Cutting people off becomes proof of purity. So logically, when your arm is bigger than your head, the problem cannot be the whole world. Maybe it's you.
When you see things happening, you have to say something, in my opinion. And I understand that there's like safety concerns, and I have a lot of privilege as a cis white woman saying those things, but I can't stay silent. I never will. I said yesterday, like, the right people will find you. The right opportunities will find you. The right friends will find you. The right jobs will find you. And it's not worth a check to compromise your integrity.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
The irony here is hard to miss. You acknowledge your privilege, but then ignore what it means. Most people stay silent because they have jobs, families, and actual responsibilities. Not everyone has the luxury of turning activism into a full-time identity. There's also a strange hypocrisy in preaching to speak up. The fat acceptance movement does this constantly, shutting down anyone who mentions weight loss or health risks. And the idea that the right opportunities will find you sounds comforting, but it's the same logic that keeps people trapped in delusion. True integrity would mean confronting the consequences of one's own choices, not projecting moral outrage onto the world. At the end of the day, the speech tries to sound inspiring, but it's more of a confession, a list of relationships destroyed in the name of self-righteousness.
Did she block DoorDash too? Let's introduce her to Jesus.
Or Weight Watchers.
Or Ozempic.
Her hand looks so tiny.
You like to eat?
Hell yeah, I like to eat. What you think? I got air in me? the hell is wrong with you? Asking me dumb questions.
Do I look better in pictures or in person? In theory.
Come to work with me as a plus-size stripper in Houston, Texas. Let me fix my face. This is the makeup all finished. I just need to do my lips, but I'll do that later when I get to the club.
No, floor.
I'm sorry.
It's this time of night. Oh my god. My eyelashes were bothering me like the last 2 hours. I don't even know. So bad. Gosh, feels so good. I'm gonna go count my money for y'all though. I'll get it tonight. I made a good little amount tonight. I made like 100 in cash, and then I got I think like 135 on Cash App, because it was 75 VIP room, and then he tipped me like 60 on Cash App, so we did good. But
what you're seeing here is a perfect example of how far the internet's need for attention has pushed the limits of what we call empowerment. Shock brings attention. This is the dark side of the modern body positivity narrative. It turns pain into performance. I do understand that there are many types of fetishes. We have seen many things, but morbidly obese stripper is on another level.
A man just threw a pickle-flavored potato chip at my car at the gas station, and I don't know why.
You okay? Are you alright? How do you know the chip is pickle flavored? How do you know, friend?
She ate it. She ate it. She got out her car, she picked it up off the ground, and she ate it. That's how she know.
But was it the flavor that hurt her feelings so bad?
That's why she crying. Why would you throw just one?
Hey, don't be smoking cigarettes if you're pregnant. What's wrong with you?
I'm not pregnant, I'm fat, you fucking asshole.
Hello there, friends. This is your favorite body positive and fat liberation content creator here to remind you that not all bodies want to shrink. No, we don't. Diet culture teaches us that fat people should be striving for weight loss and to be smaller, and that's not the reality of life. It's not the reality that you have to live in. You do not have to do everything in your power to become a smaller size. You really don't. And body neutrality specifically reminds us that our body is not a fucking project to be fixed. Okay? So have a great day.
What's interesting about this is how it quietly reveals the contradiction that often runs through fat liberation content. It starts with confidence. Not all bodies want to shrink, but ends with resignation. You don't have to do everything in your power to become a smaller size. There's a subtle shift there, from choice to avoidance. Everyone knows that most people do want to feel stronger, move easier, and live longer. But the moment effort becomes difficult, the rhetoric changes from "I want to" "I don't have to." It's a coping mechanism. This tells viewers that any discomfort they feel about their condition is society's fault, not their own responsibility. The tragedy is that people who could genuinely transform their lives get trapped in that narrative, trading short-term validation for long-term well-being.
Next time you go to a fast food restaurant, look at the bodies of everybody else who's there. Oh, you shouldn't judge people. I'm not asking you to judge them. I said, look, open your eyes. Open up those big, beautiful eyes you have. Look. Are they walking slow? Are they talking slow? Are they dragging their feet to the front? Are their backs wide? I didn't ask you to judge them. I said, look. When you look at the people who are at the same restaurants that you love, what you'll notice is they look like you. When you used to go there. Don't go there no more. When I was 225 pounds, I used to go to Bojangles at 10:30 a.m. in the morning because I love them fried chicken tenders, the Supremes, and they would be fresh. They fresh. So I know they drop chicken at like 10 o'clock. They start dropping chicken. I know they start dropping chicken at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, they start dropping chicken. Thank you so much, Nisha. So I'm there at 10:30 because I want that fresh chicken. Because sometimes if you get there around like 12, 1 o'clock, the chicken, it's been sitting there. But I need that 10:30. So I would like leave CrossFit or something, do a long workout. Cause I used to work out 6 days a week, 1 hour session. I was a CrossFitter, marathoner, and long time yoga and Pilates enthusiast. So I used to know when they would drop that chicken fresh, little fried chicken. And I go there 10:30 and I would get in that line. How do you know this? Cause I was 225 pounds. So I would get in line and then I would look at the people who was in front of me or behind me and I'd be like, oh, they big. See, I'm not sloppy big. Now I had a big back and I couldn't see my toes in the shower, but they're big. And I felt better about me being there because like, oh, I know I just came from a workout. These big backs didn't come from the workouts. You can tell by the way they dress. They don't work out. I work out. I was as big as the rest of them. If somebody was outside of that restaurant looking in, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference between me and everyone else. They would say they big. So start looking at the places you like to eat. When I was overweight, I used to only go to restaurants that had chefs that were morbidly obese. If the chef had an auntie arm, if the chef had a thick neck, I said, oh yeah, they could cook in here. They know how to cook. They know how to throw down in the kitchen, among other places. So I would only exclusively go to restaurants where somebody was big making my food. And then I got big eating that food. Look around. The chef big, waitress big, busboy big. Customers big, you big. Get out of there.
Knowing what time chicken is being dropped is commitment.
Sis started glitching, talking about that chicken.
I'm not being fat phobic. I just want to make sure that everyone is healthy. And what does this being healthy look like to you? Eating a vegetable at least once a week. Not sitting on the couch all day doing nothing. Okay, yeah, that sounds nothing like the average plus size person's life. I don't understand. Okay, well, if you let me explain. You can't look like that and actually take care of yourself. You and I have very similar day-to-days, and if you want to see my blood work and you want to determine that this is about health, then here you go. This doesn't make any sense. You want to look at health objectively? You're looking at health objectively. Here's our paperwork side by side. I'm healthier than you, so why don't we switch bodies? No. Shocker. I had no idea you were going to say that. Why not? You know, because... Go on. The floor is yours. I like looking like I take care of myself. And I like dressing nice. Right, of course. And I'll give you the full package. We'll switch bodies and I'll give you my whole closet too. No. So I solve all the problems that you mentioned. Your life would be exactly the same, if not better, because you're in a healthier body. And you're still refusing. More about what? Your argument is that you care about people's health. Your argument is that you're not fat phobic, even though you're leaving comments saying the nastiest things about fat people just look terrible. And there it is.
This one is a masterclass in absurdity, and not just because of what's being said, but how it's being presented. Creating a fictive dialogue, pretending that someone out there would really argue you can be thin and unhealthy, and then attempting to prove how healthy they are. Yes, technically, a thin person can be unhealthy, but statistics are not opinions. They are probabilities. According to CDC data, higher BMI correlates strongly with elevated health risks. Pretending that being morbidly obese carries the same likelihood of health as a person maintaining a lower body weight is insane. And why the need to convince strangers online of one's personal health status?
No, cuz when people tell me they're concerned about my health, I ask them what my BP is because clearly they have to know what it is if they know how healthy I am.
How much you weigh, Pudgy?
I weigh about 2.
That's no. No, that's not. Don't even say that. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. I'm almost 300. He ain't weigh 2 nothing. He ain't, that was a long time ago. Probably in the 5th grade.
Probably like 3 solid.
4.
You're cooked when you start negotiating your weight.
Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy, and I am 100% glorifying obesity, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I don't need to do anything about it. You do.
Is this satire? It worked. I am fat now thanks to you.
I'm so glad to have been such an influence.
The hardest part about dating when you're a fat guy like me is people try to set you up on dates with their friends, and their friends are also fat, and I have to say, hey, I appreciate it, that's just not my type, and they're like, what the fuck, you're shallow, why do you want to do? Listen, we can't fit on the same bed, okay? And what do we have in common besides poor eating habits? Just because we're both fat doesn't mean we're destined to be together, all right? So yeah, grow up.
The friends think they can pawn off the fridge.
Hey bitch, you know I've been chunky all my life, and you know what that stopped me from doing? Not a damn thing. I wear whatever I want. I go wherever I want. I literally have traveled to a different country all by myself with a seatbelt extender because I have no shame in my game. I have been with the finest, tallest men. I'm just here to tell you, please don't let your little roles stop you from living your best life, okay? It's too short. We got aliens and shit, bitch. You need to be out there living your life in your little tank tops and your little string bikinis. Are people gonna look? Probably, but they're just mad that you're out there living your best life and they're not.
This is another fascinating example of the extremes of modern body positivity content, and it exposes both the performative nature and the contradictions within the movement. On one hand, the message is clear. She wants people to feel empowered to live their lives without letting weight hold them back. But her subjective experience can't be generalized for everyone, which is where it becomes misleading. She basically implies that health risks, mobility issues, and other medical realities simply don't exist. Living your best life cannot be living as a super morbidly obese person. You cannot deny how better your life would be if you lose some weight.
What water, besides water, what other beverages can you drink? Warm water, cold water, swamp water. So if you don't want regular water, just add a little spice to it. What do you eat from KFC? Water. What do you eat from Chick-fil-A? Water. Thank you so much. I like McDonald's. I like to get water from there. Ginger shots do not help you build muscle or lose fat. Why is Olipop trash? It doesn't help you build muscle or lose fat. Apple cider vinegar does not help you build muscle or lose fat. How do you feel about crumble cookies? It only makes you fat. I appreciate you. I lost weight, but the scale is the same. Is it? Is it? You lost weight, but the scale lying on you. Oh no, the AI is coming for us. It's fair, right? If it's loosey-goosey or takes a, 2 wipes. This is super random, but if you know, you know. Anywho, Kia, me and the baby are doing amazing. Thank you so much for asking. This month, I'm taking a break from triple dippers. Are you proud of me? You need to take a break from triple dippers for the rest of your life. What can I snack on? Water. Yep.
I like the water from McDonald's.
Just because I'm fat doesn't mean I have trouble walking.
Today's not a rest day.
Is it okay to call a fat person fat?
Do you know it takes literally 2 seconds to do?
Do you think I'm bloated?
No, it's supposed to be my abs. Hello there.
I'm sorry, but why the fuck would I not be walking around? Just because I'm fat doesn't mean I have trouble walking.
How fucking fat phobic are you? You're saying this to a chick that has gone to, let me count, at least 7 3-day festivals and a handful of 2-day festivals that are EDM festivals where you walk around and stand on your feet for 12 hours a day, and you do that 3 days in a row, and I have no trouble doing that. I'm sorry, like, do you know who the fuck you're talking to? Clearly not. Like, take your fat phobia and fuck right fucking off. Y'all are pathetic.
So you're bragging about walking, not climbing a mountain, not finishing a marathon, just walking. You say you've been to 7 festivals and stood for 12 hours a day like that's a physical accomplishment worthy of a trophy. That's the red flag right there. When simply being able to stand up for a few hours becomes something you feel the need to defend online, maybe that says more than you think it does. You've turned the bare minimum of human mobility into a badge of honor because someone suggested fat people might struggle with it. The irony is that the people you're yelling at aren't actually thinking about your step count. They're reacting to how defensive you get about your size. You can be confident, sure, but when that confidence turns into delusion, that's when people start losing respect. You say, fat phobia, but all anyone hears is don't question me. Here's the truth. If your argument depends on how many hours you can stand at a festival, maybe it's time to rethink your definition of health.
You're a warrior.
Today's not a rest day. Are you going to be the beauty or obese? Get up.
Is it okay to call a fat person fat?
100% it's okay to call a fat person fat. If you're fat and you own it, totally more power to you, but just don't ask me to believe it's not because you ate too much. And don't tell me it runs in the family, because no fucker has ever run in your family, otherwise you wouldn't be in the position you're in. And don't tell me you've got big bones, because you haven't. But younger people are seeing this whole fat positivity. That shite's already over. So Victoria's Secret started engaging a whole bunch of the Chumbawambas. They can't sell a single pair of pants. There's no surprise in that, because they're so far up the ass cheek of people who have fatty great asses.
Do you not worry about hurting people's feelings?
Why is me pointing out what you've done to yourself? How does that make me in the wrong?
Sometimes we all
Is
need
it
a mean
okay to
ant.
call a skinny person skinny?
Obesity is often treated like it's no big deal. Just a little extra weight, right? After all, society has gotten pretty good at normalizing unhealthy habits. Who needs balance when you can have convenience, oversized portions, and screens that do all your moving for you? It's almost impressive how easily people forget that carrying excess fat isn't just about looks. It's a quiet, consistent way to wear your body down from the inside out.
Do you know what takes literally 2 seconds to do? Shutting the fuck up when you want to say something about somebody's body.
You notice the captions, right? Calling your therapist and talking about your issues with self-projection. Which, by the way, is impressive advice coming from someone who turned denial into a full-time job. You tell people to call their therapist, but maybe the phone signal got lost somewhere between self-projection and self-awareness. It's always the same script. If you criticize me, you must hate yourself. The irony is that you're the face of fat acceptance, preaching self-love while deflecting every bit of accountability. Maybe therapy really would help, but only if you're actually willing to listen.
You want to see a magic trick? Look, look, look.
Bruh, why is you grabbing my chicken, bro?
It's magic.
No, bro, I don't. Man, you fat bitch.
I was waiting on the meatless bones to emerge.
Do you think I'm bloated or gaslighting myself? You gaslighting yourself. You just fat. Do body weight exercises build muscle? In your case, no. Can they? Yes. In your case, no. I'm saying you cannot. I didn't say no one can. I said you can't. People are saying I look smaller. I went from 206 to 211. Those people are liars. Or blind. I'm not sure. Who are you talking to? Ray Charles? Stevie Wonder said you look smaller? Who said that? You're craving Chick-fil-A? Wow. Why don't you ever crave water? Weighted vest, you big enough. You don't need to add 20 pounds to it. Weighted vest piss me off. You're 250 pounds. Why are you adding 20 pounds to it? I love the beach. Is there an anti-bullying policy? You tell me. Every time you go to the beach, you feel uncomfortable. You got to wear a muumuu. You got a cortisol belly. You got a menopausal belly. You got an endometrious belly. You got period belly. God damn it. When do you just have a Chick-fil-A belly? You never call it a Kava belly. You never call it a DoorDash stomach. But it's a cortisol belly? No, you got it from a thyroid belly. You got it from Chick-fil-A belly.
The heart, for instance, must absolutely love obesity. It gets to work harder every day, pushing blood through a system that's under constant strain. High blood pressure? That's just your heart's way of expressing how thrilled it is. And let's not forget the arteries, slowly clogging with fat and cholesterol, kind of like plumbing that no one bothers to fix until it bursts. Heart disease and stroke don't appear overnight. They're the long-term rewards of pretending everything's fine.
And I think that is a big aspect that is looked over, especially in my comment section and in all of our comment sections and in DMs. I replied to someone one time when they berated me with negativity and they were talking about, but your health, you should care about your health. I said, if you care so much about my health, then what about my mental health? What about this message was actually considerate of my mental health since you care so much about my health? You didn't ask anything about what time I went to bed last night. What time did you go to bed, by the way? Sleep is very important. Sleep is But I think that, there is a big component of weight stigma and fat phobia that is not talked about, that is documented as being much more dangerous than weight itself.
So now we're in the "but what about my mental health" stage of the fat acceptance, the part where genuine health criticism magically becomes emotional abuse. You'll notice how every time someone mentions diet or exercise, the conversation instantly flips to feelings. Suddenly, it's not about obesity, inflammation, or hormone imbalance, it's about bedtime schedules. You ask people if they know what time you went to sleep last night, as if that somehow cancels out everything we know about the biological link between excess weight and mood disorders. The science here isn't a mystery. Higher body fat is correlated with increased inflammatory markers like cytokines, which in turn affect serotonin and dopamine regulation, the same chemicals tied to depression and anxiety. So yes, your body chemistry can absolutely influence your mental health.
Only if there was way to fix it,
What you eat also has impact on your mental health, babe. If you eat like shit, you'll feel like shit. Your body's health also impacts your mental health.
Healthy body can help with mental health actually.
I'm recording! I'm gonna get off my double chin! Dang!
His visa got expired.
Type 2 diabetes, the body's elegant response to too much sugar and too little movement. When your cells stop listening to insulin, your blood sugar levels soar, and your organs quietly start taking the damage. But hey, at least you can keep saying, "I'll start eating better next week."
You know what's supposed to be my abs? Those don't exist yet. Welcome back to another episode of Callie Tries Gym Equipment, where I am at Planet Fitness trying different gym equipment that I've never tried before. It is currently 1 a.m. There's a total of probably 7 people in this entire gym. So let's get cracking. And I'm looking at you, hammer strength abdominal crunch. Looks terrifying. Let's do it. This is our target for the night. Looking here, it tells me to sit and crunch. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, hold this. Oh, why did that make that noise? Feet are supposed to go up, arms, we're all supposed to go to the middle. All to the middle. Can we even do that? I don't know. Holy blue. Whoa. That hurt. Not hurt. That was hard. I think because it's not, I set it at 10 pounds, but really it's all like 300 pounds of me too. 322.1 to be exact as of the scale this morning. Whatever. Okay.
That's not how resistance works. The machine doesn't magically add your body weight to the load. That's not physics. That's confusion with a side of self-deprecating math. and you are using your hands to pull instead of keeping them locked to engage your core.
Okay, wow. That takes a lot of effort. Did not expect that. Okay. Can we get 5? Probably not, but let's try. Blast off. Ooh. Wow, we are going to do this one at a time. There is no going one into the next. Okay. Let's go. This is working out everything. I know it's supposed to be my abs. Those don't exist yet. But it's also my arms and my hands and my fluff. We can do this. I feel like I need to change your location. 3 more. New angle unlocked. 3, 2, 1, and go. I am Hulk. I am Hulk. Not really, but I'm going to pretend I am. We got 2 more to go. I hear everybody tell me I got to do controlled movements. So I'm trying to slowly lift up and slowly come down. Holy crap, my hands hurt. 1 more. We can do this. Go. Yes. I did it. That is very difficult when you're a fluffy human. But I did it.
This is ridiculous. You shouldn't pull yourself up. You should crunch. But here's the bigger issue. Doing isolation ab work when you're just starting your fitness journey isn't the best use of effort. For someone carrying a lot of extra weight, compound lifts like squats, rows, or presses burn far more calories and build more muscle mass. That means better metabolism and a faster route to actual results. Why would you train abs? To her credit, she's in the gym and trying, and that's the part worth respecting. But turning poor form and flawed exercise logic into entertainment teaches the wrong lesson.
We gotta talk about fat broads. There's nothing worse than a fat chick who's got a fucking attitude, okay? I gained 5 pounds and I'm humble pie. I am fucking eating crow 24/7. I am humble pie. Last thing you're gonna catch me doing is talking with some attitude and being annoying. When I'm thin, I have a little bit more right to do that. If you're fat, shut the fuck up.
Caring more about your wigs and nails than your physical health is diabolical.
The mental toll of obesity, the part no one wants to talk about. The fatigue, the frustration, the guilt, all quietly feeding into the same cycle that caused the problem in the first place. Obesity is dangerous because it's subtle. It creeps in while you make excuses and stays until you can't anymore. But it's probably fine. Until it isn't.
Hello there, this is your favorite body positive and fat liberation activist here and content creator to remind you that clothing should actually fit bodies and not bodies fitting into clothing. Having to go up in a size is not a moral failing, okay? It's just proof that the fashion industry needs to be more inclusive. I hope whoever needed to hear that today hears it, and have a great day.
Every time someone has to size up, apparently it's the fashion industry's fault. The funny thing is, clothing already does fit bodies. It just fits the average measurements that designers base their products on. That's not oppression. It's always someone else's job to change. And you'll notice how that logic bleeds into everything. Can't find jeans that fit? Society's fat-phobic. Struggling to walk upstairs? Society's fat-phobic. If you zoom out, this whole clothing should fit bodies mantra is just another way of saying, I refuse to adapt. In every other area of life, when something doesn't fit, we adjust, we fix it, we work on it, we grow. But somehow, when it comes to fitness, The new trend is to declare the rules unfair and pretend self-improvement is discrimination.
These are my friends, and they're gonna show you the synchronized swimming routine they just came up with, and you're gonna clap at the end and tell them how much you loved it.
Okay, guys. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You can clap now.
Oh my gosh, are you clapping for me? Oh my god, stop it! You guys,
That's so hard. We're so proud of you.
Oh my gosh, a standing ovation!
Roses.
Thank you so much! Oh, thank you!
Honored.
I feel so loved and so seen. Thank you. Thank you. Arm up!
Come on, get this arm up. You're good.
I got it.
My friends are gonna show you the synchronized dance. I did it wrong. I said dance. Swimming routine they just
Wait,
came
Ashley,
up.
start over. I scratched my nose. 5, 6.
Oh no.
It's just like a scene in Bring It On. You dropped me out of the pyramid. I saw my lifestyle flash between my eyes.
Did you hold your breath?
No.
Alright, if that's good, we could take it.
Wait, hold on. No, I splashed my mouth and it threw me off.
Mix it up.
I lost my footing. It doesn't matter. My hair is wet. I'm laying down. That'll make for a good blooper.
The only team I want representing USA.
One thing that has always baffled me about the ways in which men will approach plus size women, and honestly, not only men, this is not only in romantic context.
So, right from the start, you frame this like a sociology lecture. But let's stop and ask, why are people even complimenting plus-size women in contrast to thin Barbie dolls? It's not some mysterious hierarchy problem. It's a basic social pattern where people overcorrect. And the reality is, attraction has always been tied to visible cues of health and fitness. That's not social conditioning. You can argue culture plays a role, sure, but pretending humans evolved to ignore health indicators is rewriting basic evolutionary psychology.
And honestly, not only men, this is not only in romantic context, sometimes just people who are generally complimenting a plus size woman do this too, but a lot of them cannot do it without in the same breath bashing another body type. And this has always really bothered me. I mean, literally, it's in All About That bass, no treble, I won't be the stick thin Barbie doll. Like, there's an implicit put down of women who are skinny, who are the beauty standard.
You say it bothers you, but the thing is, people compliment comparatively because that's how we make meaning. We define beauty in contrast to something else. Humans naturally categorize tall versus short, thin versus thick, fit versus unfit. And let's talk about that phrase, the beauty standard. The standard exists for a reason. It's not random. Studies published in journals like Evolution and Human Behavior show that waist-to-hip ratios and overall fitness are associated with perceived health and fertility. That's simple biology. The fat acceptance movement often ignores that distinction. Beauty standards may evolve, but they're anchored in something real. But let's try seeing this from a different angle. Modern body positivity thrives on opposition. It can't exist without having an enemy. Whether that's the patriarchy, diet culture, or Victoria's Secret models, there always has to be someone to blame. Because if you remove the villain, the movement loses its moral fuel.
Who are skinny, who are the beauty standard. And I know that this can feel like subversive or whatever, but it just does not make sense to invoke to a woman who's like certainly definitely aware of that when you just don't need to if your goal is to compliment her. And especially when men do this, when they're like asking plus size women out or trying to communicate that they're interested in them, they will say, oh, I like bigger women. But then they'll usually say, I don't like those stick thin Barbie doll Victoria's Secret models. I've literally had all this said to me word for word.
So you're upset that compliments to plus-size women sometimes involve comparison. But isn't that what the body positivity movement does constantly? Comparing itself to toxic beauty culture or skinny privilege? You can't call out the behavior when others do it, then build an entire movement around the same logic. And you take this as evidence of a beauty hierarchy? But maybe it's simpler. Maybe some guys are just awkward. People say dumb things when trying to flirt. It's not a reflection of systemic oppression. Here's where things get complicated. Yes, some men do overcorrect. They signal virtue by rejecting mainstream beauty standards. But that doesn't mean attraction to health or fitness is just social conditioning. Maybe it's not about hierarchy, but about survival instincts that have existed long before TikTok.
And I realize that I think what it is that they are so attached to the idea of beauty hierarchy that they can conceive of plus size women being attractive in some way, but they can't conceive of being attracted to something that's not on top of the beauty hierarchy. So instead, they have to make up their own beauty hierarchy and feel like they're the only one who sees the truth, which is that actually it's better to be bigger, and being bigger is more attractive.
This is an interesting take, but it misses the big thing. The hierarchy isn't man-made in the sense she means. It's biological with a cultural overlay. People don't invent attraction to certain traits. They respond to signals that have historically correlated with survival. Sure, society defines the details, hair color, fashion, trends, but the foundation is natural selection.
It's better to be bigger, and being bigger is more attractive. Because a simple different people like different things, or we've had this social beauty norm conditioned to us that isn't what everybody likes, is just too much for their brain to comprehend. They have to be right. They have to be like superior in some way for finding this thing attractive that nobody else does. Because the alternative, of course, is being inferior. You only like this inferior type of woman because you yourself are inferior, or you're broken, or something like that. So instead, they turn it around to make themselves seem like this sort of benevolent person or this special person.
You interpret this as arrogance, but maybe it's just people trying to be kind in a clumsy way. Compliments don't always carry deep philosophical meaning. Overanalyzing that turns ordinary behavior into imagined oppression. Or maybe, and this might sound crazy, they're just trying to rationalize being attracted to something that biology hasn't wired them for. Because deep down, people know health and vitality are universally desirable. That's why fat acceptance has to constantly justify itself. It's arguing against the most primal human software. No one writes essays defending their attraction to fit people, because that attraction is inherently self-explanatory.
Benevolent person or this special person who can see the beauty in a different type of woman, because that's actually what's objectively more beautiful, not just because they have a different taste or because they're capable of seeing the beauty in many different types of people. And what I think it really speaks to is how deeply embedded hierarchy is in our conception of romantic love, and how finding a good partner says something about you, or finding, whoever you're next to makes you look better if they look better, or worse if they look worse. And so the only way to fight against that is to say, actually, what I like is better, objectively. Because they don't want to give up that opportunity of being better. It's all about being better. You can't just have your own thing and march to the beat of your own drum. There has to be some type of hierarchy. You have to be winning.
Ironically, by saying that men who like bigger women are clinging to hierarchy, she's reinforcing one herself, the hierarchy of moral virtue. In body positivity culture, moral worth replaces physical health. If you reject beauty norms, you're enlightened. If you question them, you're oppressive.
This is once again very contrary to my experience. I guess it goes to show that reality is subjective as it is dependent on perspective.
Women have a similar issue with fat guys, to be honest. I've only ever received backhanded compliments from women. Sucks all around, I think.
I'm a personal trainer and a power lifter.
I'm on a weight loss journey.
Brand new to the gym. Workout hack.
It's a fat person when you go in the wall.
Fat phobic side of TikTok.
Today, we're diving headfirst into the toxic underworld of the body positive fitness movement. We're going to look at a compilation of videos from that creators and break down what they're doing wrong. Let's start with what's been spreading like wildfire on social media. The idea that you can be fit at any size. We're looking at a video from a personal trainer who says she lifts 4 days a week and loves her body exactly as it is. #powerlifting.
Hi, my name is Carrie. I'm a personal trainer and a power lifter, and this is what my body looks like as someone who works out 4 days a week.
Okay, let's just stop right there. Now, I want to be clear. I am all for anyone getting into the gym. Lifting weights is phenomenal for mental health, for building metabolically active muscle, and for genuine, sustainable fat loss. But if you work out 4 days a week and your body still indicates a severe caloric surplus and a clear lack of muscular development relative to your size, you are not a testament to fitness. You are a walking advertisement for a fundamental misunderstanding of everything. The part the body positivity and fat liberation movements don't want you to know is that diet is king for weight loss, and building muscle is the way to keeping it off. So what's going on here?
I viewed exercise as punishment as a kid growing up. I avoided physical education in school as much as I possibly could. Notes from my mom, notes that I said were from my mom. When I got to high school, I was the manager of certain sports teams so that I didn't have to actually do anything active. Mostly because I thought that if I was moving my body and I wasn't doing it in the same way that the other kids were, then that meant I wasn't good enough.
So, exercise as punishment. That's super common. A lot of people associate the gym with guilt instead of growth. Yes, exercise shouldn't be punishment, but it also shouldn't be therapy that ignores the hard truths about nutrition and fat loss. According to Harvard Health, over 80% of body composition change comes from diet, not the gym. You can lift 4 days a week, but if your gut microbiome is wrecked from ultra-processed foods and constant caloric surplus, no powerlifting routine is going to fix that.
I didn't know that there were options that involved modifying movements and finding things that you actually enjoyed and doing those things instead. When I finally learned that movement should be fun and movement should be modified to meet you where you're at, oh baby, things changed. I want to be active now. I want to move my body. I want to compete as a power lifter. And more than all of that, I want you to find that love of movement as well.
Fun is great. But if your version of fun is modifying movements until they no longer challenge your body to change, that's not body positivity. The body doesn't change just because we move for fun. It changes through progressive overload. The core philosophy of modern fitness culture that completely ignores the elephant in the room. Literally, the focus is entirely on modifying the movement to accommodate a lack of fitness, instead of the most crucial modification of all, modifying your body weight. The goal shouldn't be to find a way to move that doesn't feel like work, which brings us to the powerlifting. You want to compete? Great. Powerlifting is about strength-to-weight ratios. But let's talk numbers, because the plus-size fitness hates numbers. She squats around 200 pounds. Now, an untold rule in strength sports is that an untrained, average woman should be able to squat roughly 65% of her body weight on her first day. If you are over 300 pounds, that means your genetic baseline should be around a 195-pound squat. So, after becoming a dedicated powerlifter training 4 days a week, you've achieved the genetic potential of a complete beginner? This isn't strength. This is moving a relatively light weight for your body mass. This is the inevitable result of the body positivity narrative seeping into performance. We're celebrating the absolute minimum. Don't settle for a modified version of fitness. Demand the real thing.
I can do 20K steps on vacation or a weekend outside. All the activities but a gym routine feels like boring punishment sometimes.
And speaking of people on a so-called fitness journey, let's take a look at Casey, someone who's putting in effort, but proving that just moving your body isn't the same thing as actually transforming it.
Hey TikTok, my name's Casey. I'm from Brisbane, Queensland, and I'm on a weight loss journey. I'm currently weighing 264 kilos. Today is the 21st of March, and I'm currently at the pools doing some exercise to help my lipedema and lymphedema. If you'd like to follow along for my journey, come join me.
First off, this is awesome. Any movement is better than none, and aquatic workouts can reduce joint stress. But we have to call this what it is, a dangerously insufficient response to a life-threatening situation. Let's talk about why this kind of training alone rarely produces real fat loss results. Swimming or pool therapy burns calories, sure, but without adjusting nutrition and adding some resistance training, the energy balance usually doesn't shift much. Research shows that diet accounts for 70 to 80% of sustainable weight loss, while lifting weights or other forms of strength work help preserve muscle and boost metabolism. Movement should scale. Start low impact, then add structure. Track food intake, monitor protein, maybe introduce circuit training or basic bodyweight exercises. This isn't enough.
I saw you on my FYP 18 months ago and you were 261 kilograms.
Right, like I support her vibes so much, but her weight just goes up with every post about losing weight in the last couple years.
How do you get out?
Now let's move on to another message, the idea that no one wants to see a fat fitness girl. But keep in mind, she is a personal trainer.
No one wants to see a fat fitness girl. My body type does not determine my strength or worth.
And this might be the most delusional statement of them all, the ultimate shield of the body positivity movement. Let's dismantle this piece by piece. First, my body type does not determine my strength or worth. Well, let's talk about worth. In a commercial context, as a personal trainer, your body is your walking billboard, your primary credential, and it absolutely determines your perceived expertise. And as for strength, your body type, specifically being morbidly obese, absolutely determines your functional strength. It means you are carrying a debilitating amount of non-functional, metabolically hostile fat that stresses your entire system, from your joints to your heart. Extra visceral fat disrupts hormones and can even reduce force output under heavy loads. You can be strong at any size, but the question is whether that strength is serving your long-term health or masking deeper issues like inflammation and poor recovery.
And who's? Nobody, because I'm over here trying to find girls that look like me.
And we're back with another masterclass in fitness inefficiency.
Are you brand new to the gym and it absolutely terrifies you? 'Cause same. Come with me today and I will show you what I did. I started out by doing 5 minutes of cardio on the treadmill. Then I went into these, I believe they're called hammer curls. Guys, remember, I'm a beginner.
The first day is intimidating, but we've got to ask, what's the goal? If the goal is fat loss and building overall fitness, then a plan built entirely around small muscle isolation, hammer curls, bicep curls, might not be the smartest way to start. Why would you train just biceps? Whole session just biceps. So, the problem isn't effort. The problem is exercise selection. Compound lifts, squats, deadlifts, lunges, push-ups, engage more muscle, build strength faster. Starting with biceps is like washing your car before fixing the engine. It feels productive, but it's not moving the needle.
I did 3 sets of 10 on everything though. Next, I did some dumbbell overhand rows and I pretty much used 15 pounds throughout this entire workout. Other than the very end, I used 10s. Here I'm doing dumbbell bent over rows. This workout really got me sweaty. I have been trying to lift heavier though because I always lift lighter than I know I'm capable of. Here I'm just doing some dumbbell bicep curls with the 15 pounds that felt really heavy, and then I finished it off with these like punches. And I always finish my workouts by doing some cardio on the treadmill.
Did you notice a pattern? This is an entire workout dedicated to the gun show. We have hammer curls, we have rows, which she's using for her biceps, more bicep curls, and then punches. For a morbidly obese individual, whose primary health threats are cardiovascular disease and metabolic dysfunction, this is strange. Your body is in a state of metabolic emergency, and you're worried about the peak of your bicep? And when you say, "I have been trying to lift heavier," the goal isn't just to lift heavier for your biceps. The goal is to recruit more muscle mass to create a greater metabolic demand. When you are morbidly obese, you should be focusing on the largest muscle groups: your legs, your back, even your chest.
For my busty girls, you're going to want to see this workout hack. It's a resistance band, y'all, but for your boobs. Boo Buddy gifted me this to try, and I never thought something like this would work, to be very honest, but I think it did. So the concept is basically a resistance band for your bust, but you know how those things are so, I don't know, tight and compressed? You can't even do a proper lunge in those things, but just imagine that kind of extra support when you're wearing your sports bra and doing your workout. It's just that extra hold. Listen, I know this looks super weird, but I genuinely feel like I see a difference, like in my bounce. Do you see this? Like, do you see the difference?
Hello. Can I please ask, is toning your back even possibly if you're busty? 'Cause I feel like I'm destined to always have bra fat?
So I saw a creator this morning talking about kind of the burden as a fat person when you go on a walk, and like how you're worried that people, or that you'll slow people down because you need to walk a little bit slower, or you may need to walk a little bit slower. And it reminded me of a walk I went on this weekend with some family. And basically we went on a walk. I couldn't tell you how long it was, maybe 2 miles, relatively flat incline. And I was keeping pace. I was very aware of whether I was huffing or puffing, because just as a fat person, you always are. And I was walking with one family member on our own, and they turned to me and they went, "Hannah, are you able to cope on this walk?"
Here we have Hannah talking about being a burden on a walk because of her size. I get it. Social judgment is real, and nobody likes to feel watched. But here's the thing. Being concerned about your pace on a 2-mile walk isn't just a social perception issue. It's also a fitness and mobility issue. So, the narrative in fat acceptance spaces often frames size as completely separate from physical capability.
"Hannah, are you able to cope on this walk?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine. It's a really lovely walk. It was like in the middle of the countryside. It was really lovely scenery. And I was fine." So I was like, okay. Interesting phrasing, but okay. And then when we got back home, a family member who couldn't make it on the walk said, "Hannah, like, did you cope with the walk? Were you okay with it?" And I said, "Yeah, I did. It was fine. You know, I was fine." And this question wasn't asked to any straight-sized person who was in the group. And talking to my partner afterwards, we both came to the conclusion that they obviously felt, or they judged that based on my size and then their perceived unfitness or unhealthiness that I must have, that I would struggle on that walk.
And here we have the ultimate conclusion of the fat acceptance and body positivity pipeline, a complete and total victim complex. Let's reframe this story without the emotional filter. Her family, who presumably know her and her physical state, expressed concern for her ability to complete a 2-mile walk. And her takeaway isn't, "Maybe my physical state is so alarming that the people who love me are genuinely worried for my health and stamina." Her takeaway is that they were trying to prove a point and make her flounder. She says, this question wasn't asked to any straight-sized person. Of course it wasn't. That's the entire point. When you are morbidly obese, you are not straight-sized. You are in a body that is, by every physiological metric, under extreme duress. The fact that a simple, flat 2-mile walk is even a topic of conversation, an event where coping is the metric for success, should be alarm about your physical condition. They were simply observing the blatantly obvious, tangible reality of your physical fitness, or lack thereof.
And obviously I didn't, and I think they were taken aback by that. And, you might hear that and go, "Oh, well, they obviously care if they're asking." No, Because if they did care, they would have asked outright, you know, they at the very beginning going like, Hannah, like we're going on a 2-mile walk. It's over this kind of terrain. Do you have any mobility issues? And I could have gone, thank you so much for letting me know. No, I don't. Or they could have, like, or if I did, would have accommodated. But what they did instead is they threw me in the situation to see whether I would flounder or cope, and then asked me. So that's not caring. That's trying to prove a point. Like, this is an ongoing issue I have with that side of the family anyway. So yeah, it was just a bit blatant. And to be kind of told that I'm a burden, even though I absolutely wasn't, but they assumed I would be, really taints the walk. It was a really lovely walk, and I'll always remember it for that instead. So that kind of sucks. So yeah, even if you're not a burden, someone will find a reason for why you are.
This story is meant to show bias, but it actually highlights something deeper: how disconnected the fat acceptance movement has become from the science of health and performance. The goal shouldn't be to prove people wrong about your size. It's to make your health undeniable. Body positivity should mean taking care of the body you've got, so it lasts longer.
Maybe it's more like they think you should walk more and also care in general how you felt doing it. I don't know.
Maybe they forgot to ask at the beginning? I wasn't there to hear the tone of their voice, but let's try be positive.
Sorry you experienced this.
And for last, we have an answer to this comment. How do you expect clients to trust you to help them lose weight if you are overweight?
So I see we've made it to the fat-phobic side of TikTok. So let's unpack this. So it's very clear that you have no issues with shaming someone for their body, because you just showed up on a stranger's TikTok page who happens to be the former Miss Plus Canada plus size model, motivational speaker, gym owner. I had 2 studios pre-COVID and now I'm 100% virtual. You left this comment on my video that is full of comments of women saying, I would love to work with someone like you because you would understand how to move a plus size body, how I feel, the shame that is associated in most gym spaces because of toxicity, like the comment you just left. I became a personal trainer and opened a gym because of people like you and your ignorance, because so many plus size women are shamed about their bodies going into the gym that it's not encouraging to do anything at all. Also, not everything is about losing weight. A lot of this is the journey to self-love for most people, and I practice that.
This is just bragging, and there is nothing fatphobic about this genuine question. I myself wouldn't trust an overweight trainer.
Girl, I get it too as a plus-size trainer. Keep being amazing. We get the clients that are meant for us. Preach, Sarah. You are always on message. I am so happy you are telling people that health does not equal size.
So, while it's inspiring to see someone start somewhere, we need to hear this part too. Starting is not the same as succeeding. The mission isn't just to move, it's to transform. And that means fixing the diet, rebuilding the gut microbiome, gaining lean muscle, and gradually shifting from low-impact to strength-based workouts. That's how you reclaim your health, not just document the journey.
The first time I meet a client, one of the things that I have them do is a push-up.
A double chin.
Regular cardio. Low intensity.
Why are you so big?
Rebounder class.
Motivate me to go to the gym.
You basically drink sugar.
In Pilates.
My GLP-1 journey.
Let's start with a fitness coach who can't actually do a push-up, giving advice on push-ups. You can't make this up.
Y'all ever think about how in elementary school we would eat lunch, drink strawberry milk, and then go do push-ups in PE after that? Or run miles after that? Like, that was insane. Mystery meat and then strawberry milk. What a combination.
Yes, sounds weird, but at least you were moving. Nowadays, we've got adults eating whatever, not working out, and calling it body neutrality. And running after lunch wasn't a government experiment. It was just teaching kids that movement matters. Today, everyone's obsessed with listening to your body. But your body's been lying to you since the third cupcake. If you want fat loss, you need discipline, not dessert. It's obvious you can't do even one push-up. Sad.
This was also around the time that I first heard the term girl push-up. You know, that kneeling push-up variation? First of all, what a dumb name. Secondly, that might have given you a little bit of fear or stress around push-ups in general from that point on. The first time I meet a client, one of the things that I have them do is a push-up. Most of my clients are a little nervous and the first thing out of their mouth is, I don't know if I can do a push-up. And I say to them, you absolutely can. But guess what? There are thousands of variations, maybe not thousands, that might be an exaggeration. So many variations of a push-up, and all we have to do is find the one that feels most comfortable for you, and then we'll work from there to get to a push-up on your toes.
Yes, girl push-up is a dumb name. But you know what's dumber? That you can't do even one. And what's with all the variations? Comfort doesn't cause fat loss or strength gain. Comfort keeps you soft, physically and mentally. Sure, meet your clients where they're at, but don't build a house there. The goal isn't to feel comfortable. I do get the message. Inclusivity in fitness. Meet people where they are. Find what works. But if your what works never leads to progress, that's just fat acceptance.
You taking clients?
I used to think that double chins ran in my family when the truth was no one ran in my family. I had Don Julio 2 o'clock this morning. You're acting a Fulio. Plan. What's wrong with Chick-fil-A? It gave you a big back. What's right with it? B, I have a lot of makeup on. You have a lot of back rolls. How do you stop eating McDonald's? Throw your car in the trash. That's it. You're a natural big bone. Yeah, you look like a dinosaur. You've already lost 10 pounds by eating less than 1,000 calories a day. Is that a surprise to me? No, it's just stupid. Butter on Ezekiel bread? No, put dreams and nightmares on the Ezekiel bread like meat meal. Dream about a chiseled jawline, have nightmares about a big back. Oh no!
Her insults are very motivating in some way.
A lot of people think lifting heavy weights is just for men, but that's really not true. Women can benefit just as much, maybe even more, from getting strong. When you lift heavy things, your muscles learn to work together, and your body gets better at doing everyday stuff. Carrying groceries, playing with kids, climbing stairs, all of it feels easier. Plus, seeing yourself lift something you never thought you could is a huge confidence boost. You start to feel proud of your body for what it can do, not just how it looks.
Hi friends, it is 6:42 in the morning. I'm so tired. I've been trying to get consistent again with workouts, so let's get 15 minutes in.
See, this is the trap social media sells. Something is better than nothing. Sure, but not when something is barely raising your heart rate. 15 minutes on a stepper burns about the same calories as few bites of a slice of toast. That's not a workout, that's a warm-up.
At least on the stepper machine. It just feels good to look at yourself and like not hate what you're seeing. And it's not even so much about my body as much as it is my mindset. So yeah. Today we're taking it easy. So I'm gonna get out my stepper and I'm just gonna step for 15 or 20 minutes while watching a show, which is probably gonna be Black Cake on Hulu because I just started that.
You wasted more time preparing for this so-called workout. And mindset absolutely matters, but movement should back it up. The best way to change your mindset and your body is resistance training. When you lift weights, your body releases endorphins, builds lean tissue, and actually changes how you carry yourself. And why does your workout turn into background noise? You don't need Netflix. You need progressive overload. Pick up dumbbells. Do squats. Push yourself until you feel muscles working. That's how you get results that last longer than one episode of a Hulu drama.
So I'm just gonna ease in with some regular cardio. Low intensity cardio. Ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. Okay. But I found my show. I'm gonna watch Black Cake. I have 18 minutes left of this episode. So we're gonna get that done. It is 6:54. We're 8 minutes in.
115 beats per minute, 61 calories. Not bad if you ask me. Thirty seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're ending at 18 minutes, 124 beats per minute, 156 calories. And we're done. Day 1 of trying to get back to being consistent again after like a whole shitstorm in the beginning half of the month.
Consistency matters, but so does intensity. Burning 150 calories won't undo a sedentary day or build any meaningful strength. If you're coming back after time off, start with compound lifts, squats, rows, presses, then add short bursts of cardio at the end, or even skip the cardio part. Replace that stepper session with weights, protein, and sleep.
That stepper honestly looks so fun. I would love doing that.
Getting up is the hardest part. You got this.
Why am I aggressive? Why are you so big? You asking the wrong questions. If I was as big as you, I'd be asking how I get littler. How I get to show my jawline. You asking the wrong questions. Don't come in here and ask me, why am I so aggressive? If you that big, ask me how I lose weight. Don't ask me nothing stupid. Wait, you want to fight me? Don't. I can't fight. I've never been in a fight a day in my life. These hands do not work. I'm telling you. So instead of fighting me, let us fight the plate together. Why do you have multiple accounts? Because I'm smart. Why don't you? Oh, I have one account. It's the internet, nigga. You can have 1,000. The way your brain works is so interesting to me. It's the internet. What if you have insulin resistance? Resist Chick-fil-A today. Every day you resist Chick-fil-A, you get a little bit more snatched.
Another big reason women should lift heavy is because it helps your body burn more energy. Muscle burns more calories than fat, even when you're just sitting down. So, when you build muscle through lifting, your body becomes like a little engine that runs more efficiently all the time. It also helps balance your hormones, keeps your energy steady, and makes it easier to stay at a healthy weight, without spending hours doing boring cardio every day. Take my advice. Wear the shorts and the bra. But why? No one needs to see this. And you're missing one bra.
Sleep or build.
How is Pilates a placebo? Because you do Pilates and you still have a double chin. That's how it's a placebo. Why are you not snatched yet? Why are you not looking better than Lori Harvey? Lori Harvey was eating 1,200 calories a day. She went to her kitchen and she ate less food. You refuse to eat less. That's why you're still big. Tell me every single detail of what is going in your mouth for the entire day today. Please enlighten me. A smoothie. You're going to be even bigger this summer. Oatmeal and grapes. You're large and in charge already. Cucumber salad and chicken. Yikes. You're going to need to lose more weight by the time you get to this summer. You have no idea? I know you don't. Salad? You've been eating salads and that's how you got so big in the first place. Protein shake? Oh, Brie. Oh my God. Next year is going to be the biggest year you've ever had. Fish, chips, juice, and candy. Yeah, you staying big. If I only drink water and eat nothing, then you would die.
Lifting heavy also helps protect your bones. As women get older, bones can get weaker and more fragile, especially after menopause. But when you lift weights, your bones actually grow stronger, just like your muscles do. That means fewer injuries, better posture, and staying active as you age. It's like saving money in a strength bank account for your future self. Every workout is a little deposit that pays off later.
Come with me to my first rebounder class. Now, I went into this thinking that we would be doing some cute little bouncing to the beat. Ooh, was I wrong? Brittany had us out here doing weights, jumping, choreography, falling on my ass, and then repeating all of that 5 more times. A NASA study found that 10 minutes of jumping on a trampoline is the equivalent of a 30-minute run. And baby, I was here knucking, bucket, and jumping for an hour. So I'm gonna let y'all do the math. As someone who has gym trauma, this was the perfect class for me to get back in because the music was pumping. The instructor was instructing, giving modifications when need be, and baby, I needed. And honestly, the vibes were a 10 out of 10. So I will be back, and I will be bringing whatever this energy is.
Okay, points for enthusiasm. But jumping around to music is fun, not a training strategy. If you enjoy it, great. Just don't confuse that with building strength or real fat loss progress. And mixing weights with endless jumping burns calories, sure, but it's not how you build muscle. True strength training means controlled reps, progressive overload, and giving your muscles a reason to grow. So, okay, this is awesome. If it gets someone moving again, it's a win, but once the novelty wears off, you need progression, heavier lifts, structured programs.
OMG, I know you were sore as hell the next day.
Motivate me to go to the gym. I'm 40 or overweight. Girl, hell can freeze over. You ain't never gonna get no motivation. Hell will freeze over before you get the motivation to get up and change your life. How do I know? You 40. And you still haven't gotten your life together. There's nothing I can say or do to get you up off that couch. 40? No. Hell is going to freeze over before you get your life together. That's what you telling me. So there's nothing I can do. The mirror hasn't changed you. Your baby daddy hasn't changed you. Your mama hasn't changed you. The doctor begging you to slow down on the eating hasn't changed you. There's nothing I can do at 40. What do you want me to do? Pray about it. Live. You know, I get that question a lot. I come on live every single day, about 4 hours a day the last 5 years. And people are always like, help me. Nothing has helped you before. The last time your homegirl was like, ooh, you want to do a diet together? You almost snapped on her because you thought she was calling you fat. Your kids say, mommy, can you come outside and run with us? You too tired. That didn't change you. The doctor saying, baby, you pre-diabetic now. There's nothing. I'm a stranger. I can't do nothing. So hell will freeze over before you get the motivation.
She's saying 40 like a slur.
A lot of women worry that lifting heavy will make them bulky, but that's just a myth. Women don't have the same hormones that men do, so it's really hard to build huge muscles. Instead, lifting helps shape your body and makes you look leaner and stronger. You end up with the kind of tone and definition most people actually want.
Hater number 1 says, you basically drink sugar if you that big. Hater number 2 says, can you say knee replacement?
Knee replacement.
See, all the sugar fell out 'cause you're already sweet as can be.
A lot of the girls online now, they're showing their bodies in Pilates, right? So you see girls who have really beautiful, perfect physiques, just like Lori Harvey. And without context or without looking at those pages, those girls, Nene, happy birthday to you. It looks like that girl got her body from being in Pilates. They're not. They were bad down bodybuilders before ever going to Pilates. You see those NFL guys who go to Pilates classes? You've seen those videos of NFLers going to Pilates. Oh, I'm sorry, Steven. Oh, I'm sorry. Those NFL guys who go to Pilates. Not for 1 second do you ever think that that NFL guy got his body from Pilates.
This is what being over 500 pounds looks like. This too. And this. Hi there. I'm Michaela. I am newly on my GLP-1 journey to lose weight and get healthy.
All right, let's talk about the new celebrity miracle drug, GLP-1. These drugs don't fix why the weight came on. They just turn off your hunger signal. The second you stop, appetite roars back. Also, a GLP-1 progress can be misleading. Sure, the scale drops fast, but that's not all fat. It's also muscle loss. Without resistance training and enough protein, you're setting yourself up for rebound weight. Studies from the NIH show that up to 2/3 of lost weight can come back once the injections stop if habits don't change.
GLP-1 journey to lose weight and get healthy, and it's somebody that's over 500 pounds. This is part of my journey, it's part of my story, and I wanted to document it because honestly, I'm not great about taking these kind of photos so that I can look back and hopefully see my progress, both how I feel, but also how I look. Sometimes the scale doesn't show it, and photos like these, hopefully, or videos like these will. It's certainly not the glamorous side of being overweight. I'm not really sure what is, but this is my reality, is that I'm not super comfortable behind the wheel of my car. I'm down 20 pounds, and I will tell you, I'm much more comfortable than I was 20 pounds ago.
That's amazing progress. But imagine pairing that medication with weight training and nutrient-dense food instead of relying on a prescription forever. The gut microbiome, strength training, and metabolic health all improve when you feed your body properly and move with resistance.
Down 20 pounds, and I will tell you, I'm much more comfortable than I was 20 pounds ago. But hopefully, as my journey goes on, we'll see how different I look. So, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you're on your journey and doing well. Talk to you soon. Bye.
So yeah, GLP-1s can be a useful emergency tool, especially for people who are severely obese and out of options. But they're not a lifestyle. GLP-1 can be life-saving in cases like this, but we need to know the side effects, and the fact that once started, you cannot go back. If you don't learn to lift, eat right, and build muscle, you'll always be chasing the next injection. Long-term health doesn't come from a pharmacy.
I'm so thankful for your journey. I'm subscribing for the inspiration. I desperately want to be on GLP-1. My doctor prescribed it, but I can't afford it. $886 for 1 month, and that's the cheapest.
You walk 2 hours on the treadmill. Why? And you're not burning 600 calories. You think you are because your Fitbit and your Apple Watch are telling you that, but they're overestimating how many calories are being burned during activity. It's a lie. The truth is, every day that you do 2 hours on the treadmill, you burn less calories each and every day. So the first time you walked on the treadmill, you burned 300 calories max. That was it. You didn't burn no 600. It's a lie. Your heart rate wasn't that high. You were going at a very low, slow place, and your heart rate wasn't very high. So 300 calories. Day 2, you burned 298. Day 3, you burned 296. Day 4, you burned 292. So you've been burning less calories over time every single day you've been going to that gym. So that's why cardio is not as effective long-term for trying to get weight loss results versus building muscle. So we do cardio to increase our cardiovascular strength, so we have the endurance to get through weightlifting workouts. The weightlifting workouts allow us to build muscle. As we build muscle, we increase how many calories our body burns every single day at rest. You don't have to go to the gym. The treadmill tells me that the treadmill is based on a 200-pound white man. I want you to think about it. Are you a 200-pound white man? Why am I saying that? Because that's who it's based on. So that white man has a lot of lean muscle mass, a lot more muscle than you. So if that white man was on the treadmill for 2 hours at that pace and that speed, then that white man with all that muscle, thank you so much, I appreciate you. That white man with all that muscle would burn that many calories. You don't have as much muscle. So whoever has the most muscle burns more calories during activity. That's not you. So the treadmill is telling an even bigger lie than you can ever imagine. So the answer is going to be no for you.
Lifting heavy is amazing for your mind. It helps relieve stress, improves sleep, and can even make you feel happier. Every time you finish a tough workout, you get this feeling of accomplishment that sticks with you all day. Over time, it teaches you patience, consistency, and self-belief. You realize that strength isn't just about muscles. It's about becoming tougher in every part of your life.
It's a beautiful day to live well fat.
When you are in shape.
Okay, but what if you didn't lose any weight?
Not for you.
That I ran 5 miles this morning.
We're jumping really high.
It's a beautiful day to live well fat, and today I am taking an aerial silks class for the very first time. There's a big part of me that can't even believe I'm saying that, because this is one of those activities where the moment I saw someone else do it, my initial reaction was, I want to do that, but was promptly followed up by a drop in my stomach, and yet another unwelcomed visit from this voice that visited me every single day, multiple times a day, that said, you can't. you're too fat for that.
Okay, so today's viral inspiration says, it's a beautiful day to live while fat. And look, I'm all for living, but I'd like you to be alive longer, not just louder. It's great that she's trying this for the first time. Seriously, any kind of movement is better than Netflix cardio. But this isn't really a fitness video. Why the hashtag exercise? When your main goal is to feel alive, not to get healthier, you're missing what exercise is actually for, improving function, strength, and reducing visceral fat. So you can totally try this, but pair that with a plan for fat loss and muscle growth. Motivation without progression is just emotional cardio.
You can't. You're too fat for that. And so it's been on a shelf with my other I can'ts and one days until now. And I'm at a point in my life where I can't imagine not at least trying to do all of the things I want to do in this lifetime. Not just, but especially those things that have been sitting on that figurative shelf because I was taught that my body has either made me incapable or unworthy of doing them. So when I was moments away from actually booking this class and heard the little voice in my head say, good luck getting the roof is absolutely going to cave in. You're going to be so stressed the whole time. You won't even enjoy yourself. So much better than you. I took a deep breath, typed in my card number, and marched my ass into the next available level 1 class with my head held high.
You celebrate that the silks held me up. The roof didn't cave in. That's funny, but it accidentally shows how low the bar has been set. Surviving an activity is not the same as thriving in it. Same as if your first goal in a gym is, I hope the equipment doesn't break. Something has gone wrong. This is where the body positivity bubble becomes misleading. It turns participation into progress, even when no measurable progress happens. It's like saying, I bought dumbbells, therefore I'm stronger. Yes, exercise should be enjoyable, but fun shouldn't be the priority. The priority should be progress, building muscle, improving endurance, and dropping visceral fat, especially around the abdomen where it wrecks your metabolic health. And that's not fat phobia. According to the NIH, visceral fat is directly linked to insulin resistance, inflammation, and heart disease.
And I'm not gonna lie, it took a hot minute to detangle those exact same thoughts once I actually got to the gym. But guess what? The silks did hold me up. The roof did not cave in. Yes, everyone else was more advanced than I was because they'd been doing it for longer than I have. And I had the time of my goddamn life. Even if I only got a couple inches off the ground after like 45 minutes, you could not tell me shit when I walked out that door, and you still can't. If you live in a larger body, please do something today that makes you feel alive. Especially if that thing has been on your shelf for way too long. I love you. I'm rooting for you. Now go live your life.
You don't live in a larger body. You are fat. Extremely fat. So yes, take that class. Move. Try things. But let's stop pretending that doing one symbolic workout is the same as building a strong, capable body. If you really want empowerment, pick up a barbell. Do resistance training. Fix your diet, because diet matters more than exercise for fat loss. And a healthy gut microbiome can completely change your energy, mood, and hunger signals. You don't need fat liberation. You need liberation from fat.
I honestly love seeing you live how you want.
You are an inspiration.
Mama, may I have cookie?
No, Diabito. Roll back to kitchen.
Oh.
When you are in shape, people treat you better. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not talking about a specific shape. When you are dedicating your life to becoming the highest version of yourselves, you eat right, you work out, you move your body. I'm not talking about any shape or size. Stay with me now. But when you are in shape for you, you are treating you better, so people are going to treat you better. Get your ass up and go move today.
It's part of pretty privilege. I promise. My physical stature has put me in rooms and granted me opportunity that my skills and intellect could never.
People treat you how you treat you.
Okay, but what if you didn't lose any weight? What if you stayed consistent in the gym and you improved your sleep and your mood and your cognitive functions, and then you lowered your blood pressure and your joints ached less? What if you felt stronger and more capable and aging was less scary? Sounds nice, right? Exactly. Go lock in.
Another episode of Health, but without the health. The whole "you don't need to lose weight" mantra sounds nice because it removes pressure, but it also removes progress metrics. In fitness, data is your friend, and yes, muscle weighs more than fat per volume, so the scale isn't everything, but pretending weight never matters is wild. When you train consistently and eat right, a lot of those benefits she listed, better mood, sharper cognition, less joint pain, come from improved body composition. Less inflammatory visceral fat, more muscle to support the joints, better insulin sensitivity, improved sleep hormones. So yes, lock in, but lock in with intention. Lift weights, build muscle, fix your diet, track your gut health. Fat loss is longevity.
What do you eat?
Food.
Is 2 servings good? Not for you. 2 servings will be for 2 people. That's why you're the size of 2 people. Eat 1 person's worth of food. Why is weighing food necessary? So you know exactly how much you're eating. If I asked you to go get a serving of rice, you'd bring back 6 servings of rice. If you continue to bring 6 servings of rice onto your plate and swallow it whole, you're going to be bigger than a house. 1 serving of rice is 200 calories. Your 6 servings of rice is 1,200. A lot of people think that bread is bad, carbs are bad, rice is bad. No, it's not. Too much rice is bad. That's the major difference between losing fat and gaining fat. So if you eat a serving of rice, you'll be small, you'll look better than Meg Thee Stallion. So when you get a meal plan, it'll tell you what a serving is for you for that particular meal. You'll use a food scale to confirm it because you cannot eyeball the work. To lose belly fat, what do you have to be in a calorie deficit? No, I like you to be at calorie maintenance to focus on building muscle. Why is diet good? For keeping in a constant weight, eating at calorie maintenance, which is not a diet. Why are we up so early? Because we're up early every morning. Do you offer help in exercising? The meal plan comes with the workout guide, so you're covered.
You know what we don't talk about enough? We do not talk about how difficult it is when you work out in the morning and then you go to work, but you pretend that it didn't happen. Like, you just don't talk about it. It is so hard not to say anything. Like, I try so hard not to say anything as soon as I walk in the door. I do try to keep it in check because it's like, I don't want like other people like to feel bad about themselves. Like if I'm saying like, yeah, I worked out this morning, like, and I'm just throwing it in their face. Like, I don't want them to feel bad.
But your workout doesn't need a press release. The gym doesn't hand out trophies for attendance. Working out early doesn't make you elite. Morning workouts, night workouts, whatever. The time of day isn't what builds strength or burns fat. If you're really putting in the work, your energy, posture, and stamina will show it. You don't need to remind the office every Monday.
Like, I don't want them to feel bad, but ultimately, I do need them to understand that I worked out. It is literally impossible when you did something that was fucking elite to not share it with the fucking world or to pretend like it never happened. When I'm at work and I haven't yet told people, yeah, I ran 5 miles this morning, in my head I'm like, these people have no fucking idea that I am a motherfucking beast and that I ran 5 miles this morning. And I need to let them know that they are in the presence of someone who is a fucking monster. Someone that wakes up at 5:30 in the motherfucking morning to work out. Like, they need to know that.
Results talk louder than routines. Lifting heavier, moving faster, having more endurance, lowering body fat, improving your gut health, that's progress. Bragging without measurable change is just fitness cosplay. So let the results do the bragging. Whether you train at sunrise or sunset doesn't matter. What matters is showing up, building muscle, eating for fat loss, and staying consistent long enough that people can see the difference. No announcement required.
When people announce it, I know it's a new thing. I don't even remember my AM workouts because it's a daily habit.
I stay silent. My body does the talking.
How much should a guy earn for you to date him? Over 500k, close to $1 million. If he doesn't, I'm not gonna say yes. Do you hear me? How much should the guy pay for the engagement ring? He needs to pay again. 500. He gets paid every year. 500. He saves that towards the ring. If he doesn't, he's gonna get a no, and it's gonna be embarrassing.
She eats over 500k calories. I think she wants to eat the mic. She weighs 500k.
Why would I pay 500k for a fridge?
I know we see tons of crazy rebounding moves where we're jumping really high, doing tons of acrobatics, but sometimes the basics are the best. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite basic rebounding moves. You cannot go wrong with just the basic health bounce. You're pressing into the rebounder. You're not jumping high. You're not trying to lift up with my heels. I'm trying to push evenly across all 10 toes, balls of my feet and heels at one time. Easy transition just from the basic bouncing is going right into a double leg rock. Bounce, 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 bounce. You're just bending one knee, alternating either side.
Okay, now we've entered the land of the barely bounce cardio. Press on 10 toes, but keep zero intensity. Look, rebounding may be called exercise, but only when you actually elevate your heart rate. This here, pure comedy. Here's the problem. Social media keeps selling gentle movement as a substitute for progressive training.
Alternating either side. You can do it with some arms, you can do it without the arms, however you like. You can also go right into just a single rock, which is a little bit more fast paced. If I want a little bit more movement, I'll go side to side. I'm adding a little bit more here, adding a little toe tap. Now sometimes I'll take out a single arm if I want to get a little bit more action. Sometimes I'll add weights. You do you again. Pick your own adventure. Do what feels best for your body. You can also go some little heel digs, or you can go toe taps where you're tapping the toe. Now, I also maybe like to add a little more movement. I'm gonna go front to back. Front to back. Let me know if you try these out and what are some of your favorite rebounding moves.
The magic isn't in the trampoline. It's in effort, tension, and progression. If you can have a full conversation while doing it, it's not cardio. So sure, bounce around if it makes you happy. But if you want real fat loss, you'll need more than micro bounces. Lift weights, eat for recovery, manage your gut health, and do something that challenges you.
This is a genuine, unsettling question. It was proven about 10 years ago that trampoline fitness leads to urinary incontinence and pelvic muscle damage. Since then, all studios in Europe have closed. Is this sport still popular in the US?
Vegetarians have smaller brains. This is seen in humans, that the less a human eats meat, then the smaller the brain becomes. The brain is so dependent on the nutrient density that comes from animal-sourced foods that it will suffer when it doesn't get them. It's a real thing. And why does depression go up so much when people stop eating animal-sourced foods? It's because you are depriving the brain of what it needs.
We didn't need a study for that.
Gym days always start at 5 a.m.
I used to think that fat phobia.
A lot of people say that plus size trainers are promoting obesity.
This is my body, and this is also my body.
So lately there's been this trend of fat fitness journey videos all over social media. I love seeing people try to better themselves, but the problem is a lot of these videos are packed with bad advice and misplaced frustration. So let's break down a few of these clips that have been circulating because they really highlight where the conversation around health and body image has gone off the rails. First up, we've got a woman talking about her 5 a.m. gym routine, focusing only on triceps because she's trying to get rid of bat wings. Sounds disciplined, right?
Another episode of me becoming the woman of my dreams. Gym days always start at 5 a.m. No later, okay? I am really trying to focus on my arms because my legs really is doing what it need to be doing for me. So here's what we got on the menu for today. Focusing mainly on my triceps so I can get rid of my little bat wing mainly. I always finish off my workouts with a walking and run split. This just works for me. But that's it, y'all. I'll see y'all in another episode.
All right, so let's talk about this video. Another episode of me becoming the woman of my dreams. I love the motivation, but there are some serious misconceptions here that a lot of people fall into. First off, the whole 5 a.m. gym grind thing, that's not the magic key to results. You don't need to wake up before sunrise to get fit. What matters is consistency and recovery, not punishing yourself with an early alarm. But the real problem here is the training approach. Doing an entire session focused just on triceps? That's not it, especially if your main goal is fat loss or overall body transformation. You can't spot reduce fat from your arms. Hitting only triceps and then hopping on the treadmill might feel productive, but it's not efficient. For someone carrying extra weight, the best use of time in the gym is compound lifts, squats, deadlifts, rows, movements that engage multiple muscle groups to build strength. And skipping leg day? Huge mistake. Your legs are your biggest muscle group. Training them boosts your metabolism way more than isolation exercises ever will. Add in a proper diet, and you'll see progress so much faster. So while I respect the discipline and the effort, this routine is a great example of working out, but not necessarily working smart.
Get it, girl. That 5 a.m. is dedication.
Now, the next video dives into a totally different issue. The idea that if people at the gym don't talk to you, that's somehow proof of fat phobia. Let's see.
So as someone who's 100 pounds overweight, I used to think that fat phobia or someone treating you differently for your weight was a myth. Because I had never had someone be rude to me, at least in person, for my weight. Online is a totally different story. But I've been noticing lately, so I'm working out with my friend who, she's in really great shape. She's training for a bikini bodybuilding competition and she's gorgeous. So it's obvious that when we're at the gym, men are going to come up and talk to her. But what's astounded me is that these men will come up to her and have like 5-minute conversations with her, and they don't even look at me or acknowledge that I exist. They'll be talking to her, and it's seriously like they don't even look at me, like I'm not there. And I just can't imagine if the roles were reversed. I would never go up and talk to someone and have a conversation with them and not acknowledge someone next to them. And that to me shows that it's like if you are overweight, you're kind of treated like you're not a real human sometimes.
So she realized fat phobia is real because men at the gym talk to her fit friend but don't acknowledge her. Look, I get where the feeling comes from. It sucks to feel invisible, but let's be real, this doesn't automatically make the world fat phobic. People are attracted to what they're attracted to. That's not discrimination. By this logic, if not every person talks to you, the entire world is fat phobic. Gym interactions aren't moral judgments, they're social dynamics. And honestly, most people at the gym are focused on their own workouts, their music, their reps. If someone chooses to chat with a person they find attractive, that's not oppression. Playing the victim over basic social behavior doesn't help anyone, especially when you're trying to make real progress. Instead of focusing on who isn't talking to you, focus on your goals, your training, your health, because confidence and consistency are what actually change how people see you.
Why are you talking about men's attention when you were married to begin with? And yes, unfortunately, this is just how the world works. Me being fit, I am gonna be attracted to fit men as well.
Not a phobia, but biology and thousands of years of evolution. They're subconsciously looking for the best incubator for their genes.
All right, next up, we've got another viral full body workout video claiming it's the only workout you'll ever need and that it helped her lose 65 pounds. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the problem. This kind of advice is exactly what keeps people spinning their wheels in the gym. Mixing a bunch of movements together, squats into presses, curls into lunges, RDLs into front raises, might look flashy on camera, but it's not efficient or logical training. Your squat and your press are completely different strength levels. The weight that's challenging for your squat will be way too heavy for your shoulders, and the weight that works for your shoulders will be too light for your legs. So what ends up happening? You don't actually challenge either muscle group properly. You're just moving around, sweating, and calling it a workout. That might feel productive, but it's not how you build real strength or muscle. The truth is, fitness doesn't need to be overcomplicated. You don't need a combo move circus routine. You need solid, basic lifts done with progressive overload. Squat heavy, press heavy, pull heavy. Then rest, eat, and repeat. The people who actually change their bodies long-term aren't chasing fancy workouts. They're mastering the fundamentals.
Why are people going to the gym for dumbbell workouts? Genuinely curious.
Does it matter the weight on the dumbbell?
And that brings us to a bigger point. This whole trend of redefining fitness to make everyone feel good instead of actually get better. We've gone from celebrating results to celebrating excuses.
A lot of people say that plus-size trainers are promoting obesity and we're just lazy because we can't do it ourselves. And I just want to show you that this is what I used to look like. I did do it myself, and it was hell. It was hell. I do not want any of my clients to think that they have to look a certain way to be a part of fitness, to love fitness, to be in a world where you are training all of the time. It can be done in a plus-size body, and it can be done in a healthy way.
I understand the message she's trying to send, that your worth as a person isn't tied to your body fat percentage. Absolutely true. But when we're talking about fitness coaching, it's not just about compassion or understanding, it's about credibility. You can't be preaching health and performance while clearly not maintaining your own. And the irony is, she's literally showing proof that she used to be in great shape, which just highlights that she's not following the same advice anymore. A trainer's job is to lead by example, to embody the lifestyle they're teaching, not just talk about it. There's a difference between being body positive and being complacent. Motivation should come from consistency and discipline, not from rationalizing why it's okay to lose what you once had.
Nothing looks as good as strong feels. I would feel so much more comfortable with a trainer who looks like me and understands what my body feels like and is going through.
This is my body. And this is also my body. This is my body sitting down. And this is also my body sitting down. This is what my body looks like from the side. But this is also what my body looks like from the side. This is my body working out. And this is also my body working out. The point is, your body's going to move. Your body's going to change with different angles, different lighting. And that is okay. Your body is literally made to move. So stop comparing yourself. Stop judging your body. You're perfect as you are.
You've probably seen dozens of these videos floating around. Someone showing different poses, lighting, or angles, while telling you to love yourself as you are. And yes, body positivity in moderation is important. Nobody's saying you should hate your reflection, but let's not twist the message. Your body doesn't magically change shape or size depending on the angle. It's not about perspective, it's about reality. You can change how your body looks in a photo, but that doesn't change your health, your strength, or your habits. And the idea that you're perfect as you are no matter what, that's comforting, but it's also dangerous if it stops you from improving. We're supposed to grow, to evolve, to strive for better. Accepting yourself doesn't mean settling. You can respect your body and still want more from it. Pretending that extra weight or poor fitness is just another angle is denial.
Your body is your mind. If you like yourself, you are perfect.
Every one of these videos started with good intentions. Self-love, motivation, empowerment. But somewhere along the way, we traded honesty for comfort. We stopped asking, how can I get better? Loving your body doesn't mean lying to yourself about it. Real self-respect means wanting more for yourself, not less. It means eating better, training smarter, pushing harder, and being okay with a little discomfort, because that's how progress happens.
The most frustrating thing about plus-size fashion is when brands get it and they design really cool fucking stuff and then they just don't extend the sizing.
Buckle up. Apparently, fashion brands are now part of a grand conspiracy, a secret plan to protect humanity from the overwhelming power of plus-size beauty. That's the theory, at least, because instead of expanding clothing sizes, these companies are supposedly doing a public service by keeping fat babes from looking too good. Satire or not, let's hear the explanation. You can't make this up.
Because there's this coat from Next, it's the one that went viral, that trench coat. And I know everyone and their mums were saying that this was running really large and I should at least try the size 22, but that size 22 has been out of stock for at least 8 weeks now, because I check very regularly. Just like, but if you've done a size 22, what's stopping you from going to a size 24 or size 26? You know what I mean? And I think the reason why, you may call me delusional and that's okay. I think the reason why is because they know we would look too good. I would look too good. Like I would look too good in this coat, and it wouldn't actually be fair to everyone else if I could wear that coat.
Let's pause for a second. Somewhere along the way, the conversation about body positivity turned into a fantasy where personal responsibility doesn't exist, and every inconvenience is part of a systemic plot. A coat not being available in your size is simply supply and demand. Brands design based on profit, not your self-esteem. If a size sells less, they stop making it. That's not discrimination. But no, the idea that companies fear how good overweight people might look is a perfect example of the fat acceptance bubble. It flips the narrative. Instead of confronting the health consequences of obesity, it turns lack of access into proof of power. It's comforting to think that the world is secretly intimidated by you, rather than acknowledging that plus-size fashion simply costs more to produce and doesn't sell as widely.
What we didn't realise is actually all of these brands were actually doing a public service, not creating their clothes big enough, because they just knew that the plus-size girls would fucking eat it up, pun intended. They would eat it up. You wouldn't even know where to look, because there'd just be so much gloriousness all around you. And they were like, well, we can't do it. It's too distracting. We would never get anything done. We would never get anything done because every fat babe you've ever seen will look so fucking good if they just expanded their fashion brands to include us. So for the sake of, I guess, the world, they went, we're gonna have to cap it. You're already so powerful. We're gonna have to cap it.
This type of thinking, turning inconvenience into conspiracy, isn't harmless. It teaches people to externalize every problem. Instead of asking, why is this coat not in my size? The better question might be, why am I waiting 8 weeks for a coat instead of 8 weeks into a health plan? Because at the end of the day, no fashion brand can fix what's happening on the inside. The core of this mindset is misplaced energy. Imagine how powerful it would be if the same passion used to refresh online listings for a size 22 coat was redirected toward exercise, nutrition, or lifestyle change.
They went, we're gonna have to cap it. You're already so powerful. We're gonna have to cap it. And that's actually why Next doesn't want my money. They've gone, you know what? We'd love the money because this is capitalism. We'd love the money, Hannah. But it's worth us not having the money to stop you from being so fucking powerful. And I guess, like, me being the humble person I am, I have to respect that. I'm gutted that I can't, reach my full potential. But as we've discussed, the full potential would be too much for the world. So that's it. I've cracked it.
Or maybe, just maybe, there's no conspiracy. Just a marketing department doing math. Maybe it's time to stop waiting for brands to extend the sizing and start extending our discipline instead.
Or they do extend the sizing but double the price in the bigger sizes, so it's impossible to afford anyway.
The only explanation I'll be accepting from now on.
Yes, because we are already taking more space. Next thing we will take the whole world.
Also the reverse. When they do an item in plus size that I just know won't sell to plus size buyers. Usually cause they actually have no idea how plus size actually fits.
People constantly want to argue that fat is unhealthy and being a bigger person is unhealthy.
All the wonderful things slow running has done for me.
The hardest part about being fit but not being perceived as conventionally fit enough.
Fat people don't really move or like to work out, or at least that's what a lot of people would like to think.
So I came across this video making the rounds, and the argument it makes is so logically bankrupt, I just had to respond. She basically says that since we don't critique massive bodybuilders or NFL linemen for their health, we shouldn't critique fat people. Let's hear.
People constantly want to argue that fat is unhealthy and being a bigger person is unhealthy, even if it's an athletic fat person. There are a lot of fat athletes, but it will still be argued that they're not healthy, whereas some of the biggest bodybuilders, fitness competitors, sports athletes, NHL, NFL, all these different types of athletes that are literally dead, dying, and broken from their nobody.
Did you notice the key word she used? Broken from their what? Their sport, their profession. We're not talking about someone who is existing here. We're talking about elite performers who consciously and willingly accept extreme physical trade-offs in pursuit of a specific, high-level goal. A 350-pound NFL lineman isn't that size because he enjoys sitting on the couch with a bag of chips. The risk is a calculated part of the job.
And broken from their nobody is coming at them saying, you're unhealthy.
And cut again. Nobody is coming at them? Is she serious? Sports media, documentaries, and the medical community talk constantly about the long-term health crises of NFL players and the dangers of steroid abuse in bodybuilding. The difference is the framing. We discuss these athletes with a sense of tragedy because they were pinnacles of health who sacrificed it for a purpose. With the fat acceptance movement, we're asked to celebrate a state that, for the vast majority, is the starting point of preventable diseases. Context is everything.
Nobody is coming at them saying, you're unhealthy, you're killing yourself. But if somebody exists in a fat body, we're getting shamed for it. Like, it literally makes no fucking sense.
She's right, but not in the way she thinks. It makes no sense to compare the purposeful, goal-oriented physical sacrifice of an athlete to the passive consequences of a lifestyle that, according to the CDC, contributes to over 300,000 obesity-related deaths in the U.S. annually. The athlete pushes their body to its absolute limit for a result.
I'm convinced skinny people just need a reason to feel superior at this point, to be honest. There's no other illness they show half as much concern for. And everyone is an expert on the correlation between weight and health until you remind them of current research that doesn't support their fat phobia.
So, to wrap this up, the core dishonesty of this video is a false equivalence of the highest order. It conflates the acquired occupational risks of elite performers with the baseline chronic health degradation of obesity. Athletes trade their future health for championships, records, money, and glory. It's a brutal, often tragic, but conscious bargain. The fat acceptance movement, however, asks us to pretend there is no bargain being made at all.
Making my way to the gym, don't wanna go in, but I wanna be slim and I'm here now.
From a flawed comparison to a straight-up celebration of failure, let's look at the next logical step in this ideology with Anna from Glitter and Lasers.
When people see me run, they like to tell me I'm slow. And they're right, I am slow. I am a very slow runner and will probably be a slow runner for a very long time.
A very long time is a generous way of putting it.
And while many of these people think I should just give up and not run at all I can think about is all the wonderful things slow running has done for me. It's helped me manage my mental health. It's helped me build better habits. It's given me a community. And I'm achieving things I never thought I'd be able to do. Fast will come, but right now, I'm okay being slow.
What she's doing isn't running. It's a fast waddle. And the harsh truth the body positivity movement refuses to acknowledge is that at a certain size, running isn't a healthy habit. It's a joint-destroying activity. The human knee bears a force of 3 to 4 times your body weight with each step. According to the Arthritis Foundation, every extra pound of body weight adds 4 pounds of pressure on the knees. So for an obese individual, that slow run is like a healthy weight person jogging with a heavy backpack full of rocks. She lists the benefits: mental health, community, habits, and that's great. But here's the critical point she's missing. You can get all of those benefits without destroying your body. This is what makes this so frustrating. She is powerlifting. She could focus on progressive overload, perfecting her form, and building real functional strength without hammering her joints into dust. But no. Fast will come, she says. No, it won't. Not with that mindset, and not with that biomechanics. The path to getting faster, and more importantly, healthier, involves acknowledging you're not built for running right now, and choosing lower impact activities, like the powerlifting she already does.
Slow running is better than no running.
The fat acceptance movement has more layers than an onion, and each one is more ridiculous than the last. Here we are redefining the very meaning of fitness itself. Let's take a look.
The hardest part about being fit but not being perceived as conventionally fit enough, I'm constantly having to prove that I love fitness. My athleticism isn't found in the size of my waist, and my strength isn't found on a scale. Body types that look like mine are always the modifier in the programs and never the leaders. This is what my body looks like working out 5 to 6 times a week. I am fit, just not perceived as being fit enough. So if you have a body type just like mine, know that I believe you. I know you're fit enough, know you're strong enough. You don't need a 6-pack to prove to me that you love fitness too.
While athleticism isn't solely about waist size, a large waist circumference is a primary indicator for visceral fat and a huge risk factor for metabolic disease. And strength absolutely can be measured. It's called a 1-rep max. The gotcha moment of the video is, look at my body after working out 5 to 6 times a week. But she's accidentally making the strongest argument against her entire position. If you are training that frequently and your body composition shows 0 signs of the weight loss or muscle definition that such effort should produce, then you are providing irrefutable evidence that your diet is catastrophically unhealthy. You cannot outtrain a bad diet, period. The body she is presenting isn't a fit body. It's visual proof of a consistent caloric surplus, despite all that claimed activity. So there you have it, the unholy trinity of fat acceptance fitness rhetoric. First, creator, my health risks are the same as an elite athlete's. Anna, my joint-destroying waddle is a valid version of running. And now, my feelings about fitness are more important than any objective result. But this fourth and final video from an extremely obese woman is perhaps the most emotionally manipulative of them all. It's the grand finale of guilt tripping.
Fat people don't really move or like to work out, or at least that's what a lot of people would like to think. But if you were like me and you grew up as a fat kid, you know that movement was all we had to do to prove ourselves being human beings. And sadly, that made me not want to participate in movement that would help my mental and physical health. But this year I tried salsa classes. I even went paddle boarding during the summer and started working out. I started very small with 30-minute workouts and worked my way up all the way to like 2-hour workouts because it was just so much fun. I'm not sure why, but swimming was something I always wanted to do. So I signed up in my local college and took some swimming lessons.
Swimming and being active is fantastic, truly. But notice the framing. I was allowed to do it. This is the perpetual victimhood that fuels this content. What she's interpreting as being disallowed is actually the natural physical limitation of her own body and the social awkwardness that comes from performing a difficult physical activity at an extreme size. It's not oppression, it's consequence. And 2-hour workouts is the same deceptive claim we saw from our previous creator. If you are doing 2-hour workouts with any consistency and remain extremely obese, you are providing undeniable proof that your nutrition is completely out of whack. You are in a massive caloric surplus.
And I had the best time of my life. I made some friends. I learned how to swim. I went from being terrified of getting in the water to now swimming 2 to 3 times a week. And I literally can't get enough. This year I discovered that my body was allowed to move in any way, shape, and form that it wanted to. I can work out, swim, and do whatever I want, and I was allowed to do it. It wasn't something reserved only to prove that I was a fruitful fat person. I even decided to take a random cumbia class where they taught us how to dance cumbia in person. And these are things that I never thought I was able to do before because my fat body shouldn't be in movement in places like this. But it's changed my life and I'm so happy to move this fat body.
And here is the emotional core of the whole thing. I'm so happy to move this fat body. She's framing any criticism as an attack on her joy. But this is the critical distinction everyone is afraid to make. The activity is good. The joy is good. The body size is still a medical emergency. We can be happy she's swimming, while still being horrified by the health reality of extreme obesity. These things are not mutually exclusive.
This was the best reminder that my body deserves happiness too. Thank you for sharing this. I think this is one of my favorite videos from you.
The common thread here is a violent rejection of reality. The reality that the scale and the tape measure matter. The reality that your diet is more important than your workout. They've created a world where the goal isn't health, but validation. And in that world, the only thing you can't be is honest.
Oh my God, stop. What are you doing? It is so much more expensive to eat healthy.
You have the fatty liver, not me.
Let's start with this dramatic acting of a conversation that has literally never happened.
Oh my God, stop. What are you doing?
Eating a taco from Taco Bell.
You really shouldn't be eating that.
I shouldn't fuel my body because why?
It's just not good for your health.
Okay, so what? You see all these other thin people eating the exact same thing I am, yet you're targeting me?
Yes. The difference is that thin people eating Taco Bell is clearly not a lifestyle. It's just an occasional treat, or not that amount of food.
You're targeting me?
Well, yeah, because they're thin. They don't need to be told anything.
Oh, so I see. You're just fat phobic, and anytime a fat person is happy living, you don't want them to be. You have to do something about it. You just have to, right? Yeah, well, guess what? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna eat my taco.
No one cares that you're eating a taco. We care that the body positivity movement, which this performance is a part of, often actively discourages weight loss and healthy habits by framing all dietary choices as equally healthy as long as they make you happy. Instead of acknowledging that consistent fast food eating leads to long-term problems, this reframes even the idea of personal responsibility as an attack. It's essentially saying, if I eat poorly and somebody points out the obvious, they're the villain.
You are obese, fat shaming doesn't exist. Being chubby is fine, but obese, it's not body positivity, you are unhealthy. Hope this helps.
Taco Bell isn't fuel, it's poison. A normal person has a drink at a bar, nobody cares. But if an alcoholic or a recovering alcoholic has a drink, then they call him out for it. Same thing.
You don't have a double chin. What you do have is bad posture. So all you need to do is 2 steps. Bring your shoulders up, back, and down. Bring your chin slightly forward and then slightly down, and look at the difference that makes.
So do I also not really have a fupa. My chins are all still there.
Next, we have this popular debate that starts with the claim that physique is mostly out of your control, as if human biology is some kind of cosmic lottery you just have to accept.
So your physique is 100% in your control. It's just that nobody wants to put the effort in.
Of course, there are aspects that I think you can control about your physique. I think there are more things that are out of your control. Like, it is so much more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat like crap. If I go to the grocery store and I just want to buy a bunch of frozen meals, that's going to be so much cheaper than me going and buying fresh produce and fresh fruit and everything.
Even if this is true, you can still eat less overall.
And fresh fruit and everything.
I disagree.
Immediately.
I disagree too.
Why do you disagree?
The prepackaged foods, the frozen ones, way more expensive. I've been on a budget, eternally. I always save money by just going to the grocery store and buying ingredients.
I agree with you on that, but I can go get a frozen meal sometimes for $1.50, $2, where if I want to cook a whole meal, like depending on what all the ingredients I'm getting, that could be $10.
So you'll get more.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but still, you have to think from people who have like no money and they're thinking like, oh, I can get.
I've had no money. I've had $12 for a week's amount of food.
I hear both. I think that you definitely, in the short-term mindset, it is cheaper. You go to a fast food restaurant, they have like a $1 menu. I think they've even increased the $1 menu now. So,
like
which is
$2
crazy.
menu.
It's like a $2 menu.
$2 menu.
So that's valid, I think, but I think it's killing us in the long term. Like, it's like that short dopamine effect, the dopamine where you're like, oh, I just need something right now. I think that's the issue.
I also did want to, just touch on, other than like food costs, like there's also privilege when it comes to like having time to cook stuff.
Definitely,
like if you
100%,
work a full-time
100%.
job, if you have kids and stuff, a lot of the time it's just easier. You don't have the time and energy. Like I enjoy cooking, but it's a lot of work sometimes. And it's much easier for me to just like go through the drive-thru.
You notice the key word, right? It's easier for me. Not that fit people don't work or have kids.
And it's much easier for me to just like go through the drive-thru. And then also privilege when it comes to like your mental health. When you are depressed, when you're struggling to even like get through the day, it can be really hard to have that motivation to eat well, to move your body and stuff.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I want to be the highest version of myself, the most evolved version, and she has to show up.
But your life allows it. Yeah.
No,
Your
I make my
lifestyle-
life
No,
allow
exactly.
it. I
You
surround
do,
myself
but
with
other
that.
people don't have the possibilities that you
They
have.
do. They just
Not everyone, no.
So does life allow you to be fit, or there is more to it? The body positivity movement encourages people to surrender to their circumstances. It tells them they are powerless. And this is a perfect snapshot of why the fat acceptance movement fall apart under even the slightest pressure. They rely on this idea that obstacles automatically equal impossibility, as if millions of people haven't worked long hours, dealt with stress, raised kids, faced depression, and still managed to cook meals or exercise in some capacity. The debate tries to frame personal responsibility as privilege, when in reality, responsibility is the one thing everyone has access to, regardless of income.
A lot of it is just lack of information. I think too many of us weren't raised knowing exactly what's in what or even really understanding calories and the cravings caused by certain foods.
Y'all eat garbage all day, then wonder why you have these mental health issues. You are making excuses for why you can't take the antidote.
How do you do all this without having an unhealthy relationship with food? You have a double chin. You can't see your toes in the shower and your back is as big as a linebacker. Each and every single year, you gain 5 to 10 pounds of fat every year. You're currently sick. You probably got to check your A1C levels. You asking me if I have an unhealthy relationship with food? Look at your life. Whenever I talk about paying attention to what I eat, people always say, oh my God, that's so unhealthy. I was probably pre-diabetic in my 20s. I had chronic yeast infections and cystic acne from my food choices. I could not see my toes in the shower and I had auntie arms and I wasn't anyone's aunt. That's an unhealthy relationship with food. Waking up and choosing Chick-fil-A or Dunkin' Donuts or Bojangles every morning. I think that's a little bit skewed, don't you think? The average American eats almost 4,000 calories a day, even though our bodies only burn around 2,000 calories a day. All I'm begging you to do is to eat what you burn. I didn't tell you don't eat. I didn't tell you fast. I didn't tell you Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy. I said your body is burning around this many calories a day. I would love for you to eat this many calories a day. Eat what you burn. That way you could build muscle, lose fat, and get to your dream body. I didn't tell you don't eat carbs. We eat French toast, tacos, hamburgers, and ice cream every single day. So you're not hearing me correctly if you think I am telling you don't eat. I'm actually begging you to just eat what you can afford to eat. Right now, you eat more than you could afford. That's why you have 2 chins and not 1. Okay? So you want to slow down on the eating. That's it.
And for last, we have Tess Holiday responding to this genuine comment from a fan of hers. Tess, I love you, but I hit a weight where I got type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, high cholesterol, and pressure, and a number of other things, and Mounjaro was the only thing that helped me lose the weight.
I love you, but you have the fatty liver, not me. You have the high cholesterol, not me. You have type 2 diabetes, not me. Not me. I could not be happier that a GLP-1 fixed all your issues, girly pop. So happy for you. But I just have one quick question. Would a person that's not healthy have dewy, gorgeous, glowy skin like this? And also, why are strangers on the internet so obsessed with another stranger on the internet's perceived health? The world may never know. So I'm gonna ask that you do you, I'll do me, and then if there's anything that you want to talk about or other people that maybe is an inside thought that's coming out, that perhaps you tell a therapist or a licensed professional, but not a total stranger on the internet.
A normal response would be empathy, maybe encouragement and gratefulness for the tip and support. Instead, we get Tess responding like she's auditioning for a snarky villain role. And the irony? She's using someone else's medical struggle and genuine support as content. And the commenter wasn't obsessed with Tess. She was explaining her own experience. Tess turned it into a personal attack because acknowledging someone else's success with weight loss contradicts the fat acceptance script. When she says, "You should tell a therapist, not the internet," it's extra funny considering she built a brand by telling things to the internet.
You look very healthy. One thing that people are not about to do is come for the beautiful Tess. Because baby, we'll go to war about her. Some people need to just worry about themselves.
And among these comments, I even saw her fan responding,
I hear you loud and clear. I'm just telling you my experience, that's all. It was more to let you know about my personal experience than for it come across like other people need to use them.
The hotter you are, the crazier you can be. Men will put up with it. But the opposite is also true. This is why fat girls used to be so nice. But then the internet and a bunch of black dudes convinced them that they were hot too. Now you can't even talk to one. Relax, bitch. You can't have an attitude and type 2 diabetes. If you're over 300 pounds, you need to be as sweet as your blood sugar. These fat white girls who get with a black dude and then they're like, see, I'm not racist. And I'm like, come on, Cheryl. It's not like you had a choice.
In the gym. Not telling you guys this so that it makes you nervous about going to the gym.
This woman shares a story about being body shamed at the gym. The core message is great, but the more I listened to, the more something didn't sit right with me. Let's break it down.
I've been going to the gym consistently now for 3 years. I also quite literally grew up in a gym, and to this day, I still get made fun of in the gym.
Okay, pause. I want to make something clear. I'm not discrediting her feelings. Anyone can feel judged at the gym, no matter how long they've been going. But the way this story is framed already feels a little dramatized. Like being made fun of every time for 3 years? That's a huge claim. Or you want to say that even though you have a lot of gym experience, you are still made fun of, which is also a weird claim. Why should your time spent there matter in this context? Let's see.
I'm telling you guys this so that it makes you nervous about going to the gym. I'm just telling you this because it happens. The gym that I go to is like a weightlifting gym. Over the past 2 weeks, I've noticed this couple that has been coming in, and I'm not sure if they're new or if maybe they train in the morning, so I hadn't seen them until recently. Every time we're there at the same time as them, I notice them doing different things. Kind of in their own little world together. It's a couple, a male and a female, or at least they seem like it. And they're kind of like goofing off together, which I appreciate because Hamza and I, especially when we first started dating, were very much so like that in the gym.
Something that sticks out here. She says she's noticed this couple for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yet the story is already framed like they have a long-standing rivalry with her. The assumption that they're in their own little world, but also somehow laser-focused on her, is already contradictory.
But every time we're there together, I literally notice them glaring at me through my peripheral vision. In the first few weeks, brush it off, it's just in my head. Yesterday they made it very clear that they were not only just staring at me, but making fun of me. Keep in mind, I have my headphones in, so I can't really hear what's going on unless I turn my music off, which at some point I did because I just had a feeling. And I hear the girl say, yeah, I wear shorts like that, but I don't let them go so far up my ass. And the guy responds with, and she shouldn't even be wearing those anyways. She's too big to pull those off.
Now this is where it starts to feel like a scripted TikTok villain monologue. She just happened to turn her music off at the exact moment these two strangers said perfectly quotable insults about her outfit. Like, this is the kind of dialogue you'd hear in a high school Netflix show. Very on the nose, almost too clean and specific to be natural. Also, the lack of any doubt is what makes this feel constructed.
She's too big to pull those off. And now I know that they're talking about me because, one, I was one of 3 women in there. Her and I were wearing the same type of leggings where it has the butt scrunch in the back. I actually got an ass, so my ass gobbles them up. Don't like to assume that people are talking or laughing at me, but vibes will always tell the truth. And I have a really good intuition and a really good vibe check, and I just knew from the start that they were talking shit about me. And I always trust my gut feeling when it comes to people in situations like this. Needless to say, any other time that I had like glanced over their way, they were like basically pointing at me and laughing. She was walking around and like tugging her pants up in between her butt cheeks and like almost mimicking me and what I was doing.
Again, not saying it's impossible, but this feels dramatized. Grown adults pointing and laughing at a stranger at the gym? That's incredibly childish behavior. If that actually happened, it would be wild, but it also sounds suspiciously like something exaggerated for storytelling impact. And when the girl mimicked pulling her leggings is where the realism meter hits zero. Pantomime-level mockery. A literal adult woman walking around the gym reenacting another woman's leggings. If someone was doing that in real life, everyone else in the gym would be staring at her, not the person she's mocking. It's not believable adult behavior.
At first, it kind of hurt my feelings, and then I realized that she was so insecure with herself and how her ass looked. She wanted to take the attention off of her and put it on me in a negative light, because no one who is doing more than you will criticize you for what you're doing.
This might be true, or it might be projection. It's totally normal to interpret negativity through our own insecurities, but diagnosing a stranger's psychological motives based on glances and gestures is shaky territory. It turns a vague vibe into a full-on narrative about their character. And since she already assumed they were talking about her, from that point on, every glance, every laugh, was filtered through that assumption. This is a very common and understandable perspective.
It is what it is, but I'm just telling you guys that even though I come on here and I'm confident or I show off different features of my body, it doesn't mean that I don't have bad body image days, that I don't have days where I look at myself and I don't like what I see, or that I go into the gym and people don't talk shit about me.
This is another common TikTok theme, the main character in the gym narrative. The truth is, most people don't care what others are doing. They're focused on their workout, their form, their calories, their music. Feeling judged doesn't always mean you're being judged.
The fact is that you just have to stop caring what other people think about you, because honestly, their opinions don't matter. And again, I know that I'm in there doing the most.
And this is where the message is good. Confidence, showing up, ignoring negativity. But the story wrapped around the message feels like the exaggerated setup we see often in TikTok content. The moral is valid, but the plot is suspiciously theatrical.
They're doing the most, and not to be a judgmental bitch, but they're really not. But I still get made fun of in the gym, and I still show up. Not showing up isn't going to benefit me in any way. Everything that they're doing shows more about their lack of character than it does mine.
Here's where I land. I do believe her story in general, but I think every little detail is exaggerated. I support anyone dealing with insecurity, gym anxiety, or feeling judged. Those experiences are real. And this creator is clearly expressing something emotional and personal. But the specific scenario she describes, two adults loudly insulting her, pointing, laughing, mimicking her leggings, delivering perfectly quotable one-liners, just doesn't sound like realistic human behavior. It comes off more like a dramatized story meant to reinforce a motivational message rather than something that actually unfolded exactly as described. The comment section is filled with similar stories and empathy.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. I wish people would learn it isn't okay to talk about someone else's body.
A new couple came to my gym and today I glanced at the GF and she says something to her BF and I look over again and she laughs at me while he's glaring at me. For over an hour they laughed at me.
She sounds like a fan.
I had guys bark at me for doing kick-ups on cables on my knees. It happens to everyone.
When I go to the gym, the number one question I get is, how do you know which workouts to do?
Size is not an indicator of health or fitness.
On the treadmill.
My arms.
When I go to the gym, the number one question I get is, how do you know which workouts to do? I'm going to show you.
Trust me, I know that going to the gym can be intimidating, but I feel like the Peloton app is making it so much easier. We're about to do the 20-minute full body strength workout with Andy Spear. These instructor-led workouts ensure that you have perfect form. They show you how to do every single exercise, and they're also really encouraging.
And the best part is that these workouts are free. Of course, you can upgrade to a Peloton membership to unlock even more workouts, but some of my favorite in the app do not require a credit card. And these workouts were really made for everyone, and they fit every kind of schedule. Whether you have 10 minutes or 30 minutes to commit to a workout, you can get it in anytime, any place.
Great job today. All right. Way to show up, way to suit up, way to push through.
Another great thing about the Peloton app is that they have so many different kinds of workouts, so I could get yoga or meditation in anytime.
This feels like one of those, I know the gym is intimidating, but here's this fun little app that's probably sponsored. But either way, the logic is all over the place. If you're already at the gym, why are you doing tiny at-home style workouts with zero equipment when literally every tool for real progress, machines, barbells, is right there, staring at you? This video is pushing a narrative that complicates something that should be simple. You don't need so many different kinds of workouts to be interesting. You need consistency in a few proven movements. Maybe instructor-led workouts have their place, but you don't need 20-minute full-body follow-alongs to get results. But what you need is a plan. Simple, effective, boring-to-watch compound lifts. Squats, deadlifts, presses, rows. The stuff that actually builds muscle and drives fat loss instead of just checking off a, "Yay, I moved today" box. And while apps are cute and encouraging, they're not going to fix your gut microbiome or reduce dangerous visceral fat or build the kind of strength that actually changes your body and mental health long term. Diet matters. Protein matters. Lifting heavy matters. The goal for anyone carrying a significant amount of excess body fat, particularly the dangerous visceral fat, should be fat loss, not just showing up. So when creators hype these minimal effort routines as if they're the secret, it matters, because people watch this and think, this is how you get healthy. I'm all for people moving, but if the goal is genuine fat loss and not just body positivity cosplay, then we need honesty. The basics work. The boring stuff works. The stuff that doesn't look aesthetic on TikTok. So yeah, maybe the workout is free, but so is doing 2 compound lifts a day and actually making progress. If you're going to the gym, go with intention. Build muscle. Fix your diet. Prioritize strength over cute workouts.
Just bring your knees up.
I did 1! I did 2! What is this magic?
You have come quite a ways with that already.
God. It still sucks, but I'm doing it.
I know that this is just having fun, joking, and one-time thing, and I love the energy, but I just want to point out that leg raises are not doing anything meaningful for fat loss or overall fitness when you're carrying a lot of extra weight. You cannot ab exercise your way out of belly fat. You can't spot reduce. Beginners, especially beginners with excess weight, get so much more benefit from learning how to brace their core under load.
Best workout video I've ever seen, legit.
A fat personal trainer is responding to a comment that says, "I want to ask a question, but I don't want it to seem disrespectful. As a personal trainer and someone in fitness, how are you not, you know?"
What are you talking about? Listen, it is 2025, which means that all goals should be considered as serious goals. They don't just have to be aesthetic goals. And I work with clients of all different body types, and they all trust my training. I think your question was legitimate, but also let this be a reminder that size is not an indicator of health or fitness. I also want you to take notice of the fact that you watched that entire video of me moving, and you didn't focus on how my body moved. You focused on the size of my body. It's not my job to make you comfortable with my body.
Yes, absolutely. Goals don't have to be aesthetic. Strength, mobility, mental health, those are legitimate goals. But that doesn't magically erase the reality that excess visceral fat is a medically proven risk factor, or that fitness professionals are expected to demonstrate the results of the methods they teach. That's accountability. She says, size is not an indicator of health or fitness. With all due respect, as a personal trainer, that is a professionally negligent thing to say. It is a lie, and it's a lie that the data refutes at every turn. When you promote exercise or any form of fitness guidance, the audience naturally wants to know whether your approach works, especially long-term. Watching someone move for 10 seconds doesn't magically prove or disprove skill. Movement quality matters, programming matters, strength matters, results matter. The data is extremely clear. High levels of abdominal fat are associated with insulin resistance, inflammation, and elevated cardiovascular risk. You can't body positivity your way out of that reality.
I don't think people understand the difference between physique and fitness. How is someone going to be a skinny powerlifter?
I don't know what came over me this morning, but I decided it was a good idea to run on the treadmill. And if you know me, you know that me and running just are not besties. It's not the vibe. But I pushed through it. And honestly, like, okay, it doesn't look like I'm really doing much, but I was going 6 miles an hour, okay? Like, am I in my running era?
I love the enthusiasm, but when your joints are already under a lot of load, especially with excess body fat, running at 6 miles an hour is not a flex. It's a fast track to knee pain and quitting before you even get started. The smarter thing is always resistance training. Lifting weights, building muscle, improving mobility, strengthening connective tissue. That's what actually supports long-term fat loss. You need a strength era, a compound lifts era, a progressive overload era.
I try for stairs that way cardio gets done and decrease stress on joints.
I'm so late, but the thirsty men in these comments are why I'm scared to go to the gym.
I used to be so insecure about my arms for obvious reasons, because they are big and I have cellulite on them, and my forearms are a lot smaller than my upper arms, and it used to make me really self-conscious. Literally ask any of my friends, I didn't wear t-shirts for like 10 years. And I started doing my healing work, and I love my body, and my body is not my enemy, and my arms didn't do anything wrong by existing like this. And then I remembered at some point in my healing journey that I have identical arms to my mom and my babcha. Identical. And I just think that it is really cool that I fucking look like my ancestors. And I'm okay with it. I am okay with having big arms. My body is not my enemy. My body is not your enemy. My body is no one's enemy. My arm size is literally just my arm size. Whatever.
I'm all for not obsessing over aesthetics, but the way this is framed completely misses the point. Arm size isn't the issue. Cellulite isn't the issue. The real health concern is never the arms. It's what's happening around the abdomen, where the body stores visceral fat, the type of fat that surrounds internal organs and is strongly linked to metabolic disease. This visceral fat is not like the subcutaneous fat on her arms or thighs. It's not passive. It's metabolically toxic. And honestly, it's good that she doesn't store the arm fat in her face. That's a blessing for many people. But abdominal fat is the type that matters medically.
More room for pretty tattoos.
We have the same arms. Unfortunately, what I thought was cellulite was lipedema.
Health is not a social justice issue. It's a biological one.
Why are we giving a trend so much control of our life?
As a personal trainer,
this is the most effortless workout I've done in a long time.
Don't know what to do when you get back to the gym for the first week? Follow me.
No matter what body type society is telling us is trending, I think the discussion we truly need to be having is why are we giving a trend so much control of our lives?
I agree, just not in the way she thinks. Because health shouldn't trend the way aesthetics do. Muscle mass doesn't trend. Instead, what is trending, ironically, is obesity. And not obesity as a medical reality, but obesity as an aesthetic, an identity, a whole online fandom powered by hashtags like body positivity, fat acceptance, and fat liberation. Yet here she is blaming the internet for made-up insecurities.
And it honestly feels like some of them are just being made up as a complete joke at this point. Like, what do you actually mean by leggings legs? Who decided in 2025 that was going to be a thing, hey? But I am well and truly fed up of the internet making up some kind of new insecurity for us to have. Like, I guarantee you, if social media was never invented, we would not have 99% of the insecurities that we do now. Why are we giving the internet so much power over our feelings and how we live our lives? Is it just me, or as time goes on, these trends are just getting more and more ridiculous? ridiculous. The next thing we know, we're going to be told our elbows need to look a certain way, or our knees need to be a certain shape just to look beautiful. But seriously, we need to draw the line somewhere. That should have been about 5 years ago. I guess the second best time is now. So please, for the love of God, stop picking up new insecurities on things you didn't even think about before just because it's trending. Or this cycle is just going to be never ending and will keep getting more and more ridiculous.
There's a difference between ignoring nonsense aesthetics and ignoring the biological reality that carrying excessive body fat is dangerous. And to her credit, she is in a gym, working out, sweating through the reps, something millions of people pushing fat liberation philosophy are absolutely not doing. But the message she's pushing softens the entire point of exercising: to improve your body, change your body, and yes, reduce body fat. Health is not subjective, unlike these micro-aesthetic trends. And the irony is that while she complains about trends controlling our feelings, she's participating in another trend, the trend of pretending that criticizing unhealthy lifestyles is oppression.
As a personal trainer whose career is now the age of a kindergartner, this is what I would tell you if you were my client. You may not be as out of breath going up and down stairs, but a heavy squat or a burpee will always tire you out. As you progress in the gym, you have to get comfortable with the fact that certain things will still be hard. Certain things will still require a little bit extra effort. They will still require you to have to breathe out loud. I know. People are gonna hear you breathing. They're gonna know you're trying to catch your breath. And guess what? You're alive. You're breathing. It's fine. Consistency will help you to feel a little less intimidated by a movement, but certain movements will always just be a little hard. And that's okay. Let it be hard. From that challenge, that's where you grow.
Breathing means you're alive. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But using basic biology as a pep talk isn't exactly the high-performance coaching people expect when they hire a trainer. Difficulty is essential. But there's a difference between productive difficulty and permanent dysfunction. Hard should mean heavy barbell squats, controlled deadlifts, progressive overload, not being perpetually breathless because your body fat percentage is working against your joints and lungs. The irony is that while she claims to want clients to grow, she doesn't acknowledge the simplest, most universally proven way to grow: reduce the excess fat that makes every movement harder than it needs to be. Also, she can't even do actual burpees, I bet.
Love that burpee modification.
This is a good burpee variation.
So I'm trying out the vibration plate by Marak, and y'all, the vibration can get pretty intense. It has a 10-speed adjustment for walking, jogging, and running. I really had to get used to this sensation because it's a little different. This is the most effortless workout I've done in a long time. This helps with muscle toning, improved circulation, and lymphatic drainage. So I like to work smarter, not harder, right? So I decided to do a squat so I could maximize my results. And I'm just pleased that within a couple days, I have more endurance. 20 minutes of this is equivalent to 1 hour of jogging. I was able to use this while my 6-month-old took her naps, so the noise is low. See you next video.
We've entered the effortless workout arc because apparently standing on a vibrating plate is the new cardio, the new strength training, the new everything. These plates have been around for decades, and there's a reason athletes are now replacing lifting weights with this. Come on. This is the most effortless workout I've done in a long time. Yes, because it's not a workout. Muscle toning? Maybe if your definition of toning is, my body vibrated. Improve circulation? Sure, the same way tapping your foot improves circulation. But calling this a substitute for strength training, gym workouts, or even actual weight loss cardio is just wild. If working smarter, not harder, means bypassing the entire concept of overload, then yeah. And the claim that 20 minutes equals an hour of jogging, I mean, scientifically, absolutely not. This is the exact problem with modern fat fitness trends. People want results without effort.
I'm not going to lie, I hated everything about this machine. It's really just like working out. To the point it made my body itch. You're going to feel it and you are going to want to get off. It works.
Someone told me these don't help you lose weight, but I always see others say it does.
It's giving me insane headache. And the itch is crazy.
Why does my head hurt on this? On one? Someone explain please.
Don't know what to do when you get back to the gym for the first week? Follow me. First, we're going to do some light cardio for 10 minutes while we doom scroll, just to warm things up, have a giggle, then get into abs. I know I look ridiculous, but this shit burns. And then we go right into our uppies. This is also abs. I can only do 8 yesterday, and today watch me do 10 in a row like a motherfucking champion. It's not what you think. We're going to go around the world, because I'm not trying to make my arms smaller. I'm trying to make them bigger, more impressive and intimidating. Look at those little baby muscles come through. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Dean, why are you hopping from machine to machine? I'm trying to warm up all my muscles, okay? My muscles have been a little stagnant. I haven't been to the gym in over a year, and I have ADHD, so it's just easier for me to jump from machine to machine, especially this one, lean forward. Your booty will thank you. The TikTok girlies were right. I do 30 of each exercise, anywhere from 20 to 40 pounds, depending on the machine. Follow from our plus-size fitness tips.
And here we have the first week back in the gym tutorial, which somehow immediately turns into advice that makes absolutely zero sense for beginners, especially plus-size, fat loss-focused, or detrained people. People need fat loss guidance, strength training, progressive overload, nutrition structure, and real programming, not random numbers and arbitrary machine hopping disguised as a routine. And telling plus-size followers to prioritize abs, arguably the least effective starting point, is setting them up for disappointment before they even begin.
Therapeutic. After your liquid diet, you was gonna eat healthier. Come on, I like you. Stay with me. Tasha said she binged this weekend. She did her big one. She had a lot of low vibrational plates. Then, as a result of her binge, she was gonna do a liquid diet. And then after her liquid diet, she was gonna start her healthy eating journey. That's my favorite lie. That's my favorite lie I've ever told. I used to be 225 pounds. I had cystic acne, chronic yeast infections, constantly bloated, low self-esteem, insecure, dating up with narcissists, probably pre-diabetic in my 20s. I used to eat like you. And then I would always do a little liquid diet. I would do a juice cleanse. I would do a reset. And then I always plan to eat healthy after my reset, after my juicing, after my cleanses. Back still big. Shut up. You're lying. Think about how many times you've already done it before. How many times have you already done it? Your liquid diet that turned into healthy eating. Then why you don't look good now? Come on.
The number one tip I have.
I built a complete home gym from TikTok. This is totally beginner friendly.
How long is too long to sit in your car before going into the gym?
Today we're looking at a collection of TikToks that range from mildly confusing to full-on logic-defying, all starring people who somehow make working out way more complicated than it needs to be. Let's start with a creator proudly explaining her weight loss breakthrough.
If you want to lose weight, but you literally cannot be motivated to save your life, I'm going to put you on to the number one tip I have for my lazy bitches. One of the best things I ever did when I started my weight loss journey was pick a show, something on Netflix, HBO, it doesn't matter. The episodes have to be at least 30 minutes, and there has to be at least 4 seasons. That is your treadmill show. And you're only allowed to watch that show when you're on the treadmill. I picked How to Get Away with Murder for my treadmill show. And if you know anything about that show, you know that every single episode ends in a cliffhanger. And so I'd be like, I'd watch the episode on the treadmill and I'd be like, what the heck is gonna happen next? So what would I do? I would wake up the next morning and I would go down to the gym and I would put it on my phone and I would walk on the treadmill and I would watch the next episode. I don't like going to the gym, but I like watching that show. So I told myself I could only watch that show when I'm on the treadmill. So this is ultimately what worked for me. And let me tell you, I would show up every single day. Originally I was like, I'm only gonna go to the gym 3-4 days a week. And I ended up going 7 days a week because I just had to know what was gonna happen in the next episode. I think the best show you could watch on the treadmill, in my opinion, is probably Grey's Anatomy, because you're gonna have years worth of content to watch. But if you have other good treadmill shows, definitely drop them in the comments. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Coles, and I help normal people lose weight in a normal way without being restrictive and while still eating all the foods you love. And while also being realistic about the fact that working out isn't always fun, but by finding better ways to go and get exercise. So follow for more.
Honestly, by the end of this video, I'm sitting here thinking this has to be one of the most backward systems of discipline I've ever heard. You're telling me you had the sheer iron-willed self-control to deny yourself a Netflix cliffhanger on your couch, to hold back from the sacred binge-watching instinct, but you somehow lacked the exact same level of discipline to actually go to the gym in the first place? You can enforce a personal embargo on your own TV show, but the idea of just going to the gym because you want to be healthier is too big of an ask? It's wild. It's like saying, I can absolutely stick to this extremely specific behavioral rule I invented for myself, but don't expect me to follow the basic rule that actually matters. You're proving you do have discipline. You're literally demonstrating it in real time. But instead of applying it to the thing that actually counts, you're outsourcing motivation to Shonda Rhimes' plot twists. And look, if that works for you, great. But acting like this is some genius weight loss breakthrough is kind of hilarious. It's like teaching people that the only way to make progress is to bribe yourself with TV because personal goals alone apparently aren't enough. Meanwhile, if you channeled even a fraction of that I must not watch the next episode at home energy into I'm going to the gym because I said I would, you wouldn't need this whole treadmill show hostage situation. The logic is just spectacularly upside down. But hey, at least your cardio is powered by cliffhangers instead of actual commitment. Whatever gets the steps in, I guess.
LMAO. My treadmill show is my 600-pound life. I'm glad others do this.
Mine is 1,000-pound sisters.
How do people not get motion sick watching stuff on the treadmill?
I call this Netflix and Mill.
Treadflix.
This was me when I first started using my squat machine. Big mama turned little mama. I have spent the last year locking in with working out at home. I have built a complete home gym from TikTok Shop, and my journey would not have been the same without this squat machine. It has so many adjustments. That way, no matter where you are at in your health journey, or what part of your body you are trying to target, the squat machine's got you covered, This was such a lifesaver at the beginning of my journey because it is so low impact on your joints. Now, this big mama physically could not do a squat, but with the squat machine, I was squatting to success. And of course, it folds up nice and slim for you.
I've seen many absurd fitness inventions, but this is on another level. Squatting while sitting. You can't make this up. Isn't it just easier to squat even without weight? Why the need to overcomplicate or reinvent something? Your body is not meant to move like this. Isn't this weird? It's called a squat machine. Why do we need a machine to squat?
So can you actually feel this in her glutes?
I pay for a trainer so you don't have to. Today we're working on our abs. This is totally beginner friendly. And the bonus, if you have a big belly like me, you will actually be able to do these exercises. Don't you love when that happens? I like doing some incline crunches because it doesn't hurt my back as much. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab a weight and we're just gonna swing that shit right in between our legs, do a little squat. It looks silly, but it is effective. Now, the thing with these ab machines is you have to make sure that you set it to your body type and height so you actually feel it while you're using it. If you don't feel it, you're doing it wrong. Now get on that there floor, stick those hands underneath that bum, and boom, make some backward circles. This one kind of sucks, but it's very effective. Then it's time for some old school bicycles. Doing these back to back, whoo baby. Now grab yourself a big old ball and cross and tuck and other side. Now, I just want you to repeat each one of these exercises for 30 minutes. And then just stare at your phone while we're on the treadmill and you're all done, baby. But you will look maybe red in the face, like me. I'm so tired, but I did it. I freaking did it, guys.
And like many previous videos, we've got this masterpiece of gym logic, showing a workout routine that makes absolutely zero sense for someone who's obese and trying to lose weight. Like abs. We're out here acting like doing crunches under pounds of fat layer is going to magically reveal a six-pack by sheer optimism or shrink your abdomen. You can't ab routine your way out of a calorie surplus. And the funniest part is how she keeps emphasizing, this is beginner-friendly if you have a big belly like me, as if the issue is the exercise difficulty and not the complete misalignment of priorities. You're doing incline crunches, swinging a dumbbell with no hip hinge so does not even count as effective, fighting with an ab machine, rolling around on the floor like a full parade of movements that burn maybe 12 calories combined, and then finishing with a tired little treadmill walk like it's the grand finale. For anyone who actually wants to lose weight, this routine is backwards. Calorie management matters first, then compound lifts. She finishes out of breath like she just sprinted a marathon, talking about, I freaking did it, while leaving out the small detail that none of these movements will do anything meaningful for fat loss. It's all performance, Zero practicality.
Sorry, did you say each exercise for 30 minutes? I'd pass out.
How do you do the mat circles and bicycles without getting gassy? Because I swear I can only do like 2 sets before going to the bathroom.
After working out, my face is red for so long.
I love to see my face getting red after exercise. It's like a sign of my hard work for others to see.
Don't take advice from someone who needs some advice.
How long is too long to sit in your car before going into the gym? I'm going out an hour. I'm scared. And this is the second gym that I've come to. The first one's parking lot was too full. I will get out eventually and go though. Will I? I will. I came all the way here. It can't be for nothing. 5 more minutes. With the amount of time that I've spent in my car, I could be on my way home from the gym by now. The outfit. I hope nobody saw me do that. I'm going. My feet are on the ground. I'm going. Stop yelling at me.
It's weird that she suddenly acts like entering the gym is some kind of heroic odyssey when it's not her first time in the gym, since her description says, back in the gym. This isn't a new environment, new anxiety situation. At some point you start wondering, if you can sit in the parking lot for 60 whole minutes, fully dressed, fully committed, then clearly you have the mental energy and discipline to just walk inside. The contradiction is unreal. Gym anxiety is real, but this is theater.
Get it, girl. Also, Planet Fitness has a crowd meter on their app, so you can check how many people are there before leaving your house.
This is me. I'm literally watching videos of people being scared to go in the gym while I'm sitting in my car scared to go into the gym.
You have a lot of makeup on right now.
Well, you are more into like people with natural beauty and like...
Yes, I like when people are attractive.
Well, I wear makeup because when I was younger, I was super skinny and then like I gained a lot of weight. So like I wear makeup.
Makeup doesn't cover that. Gym changes that.
We're gonna fight, but that's fine. Whatever.
What? No, makeup doesn't make you skinnier.
She doesn't think she has natural beauty. She's really hard on herself.
I need a minute.
For what? What happened? When it comes to losing weight,
yeah,
makeup does not do it. It is the gym.
Yeah, I think
she doesn't have to lose weight if she doesn't want to, but makeup isn't what fixes that.
Yeah,
is what I was saying. It's dieting in gym.
And she does that, but not seeing results is discouraging.
We'll pause for a second and give her a second. What is happening?
They're not coming back.